supporting each other as women, as businesses, and also the importance of being alert and being aware of trends that are going on around us. And we also had a panel discussion, which was led by Cassandra Corbett, with the theme, Redefining the African Women. We learned the importance of sharing our own story, telling our own stories by ourselves, the challenges of a single story. You know, so many things happened yesterday, so many important things that we shared. So today promises to be more interesting as we have an incredible people, professionals, entrepreneurs that will be sharing on their journey and sharing strategies on how we can leverage ourselves, position ourselves in our businesses and our professional endeavor. I would like to specially welcome our special guest, Shimite Bello, Dr. Zimmanuel Legis, the Minister Consular, Political Officer, Embassy of Ethiopia, all other Councillor Yemi Adenuga, all other distinguished guests in the rooms, all protocols observed. Today, we are having the awards today. We are awarding distinguished ladies that have soared in their businesses. And we'll also have a plenary session. You have opportunity to join different rooms. We have building viable consulting business. If you're interested in that, which is good for your business. And we'll also have a session on speaking to hold attention, helping entrepreneurs to stand out in their businesses. We'll also have a room that the topic will be the importance of social enterprise as a response to global disruption. So it promises to be an interesting, inspiring day where you get to learn a lot, where you get to connect with people with like minds. And it's also an opportunity for you to ask questions. So have your pen and paper ready, because we have people in the house that will be able to help answer your questions. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you all to I want you as much as possible to go to the comment section and type in where you're connecting from. If I'm connecting from County Kildare in Ireland, wherever you're connecting from Nigeria, America, Europe, wherever, please type in the comment section. Let's know where you're joining us from. And to those of you that are joining us on Facebook, we'd like to say a very good morning, a very good afternoon, a very good evening, wherever the time is where you are joined. Thank you, Tinu Adebo, you're connecting from Dublin, Ireland. Thank you all for joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure now for me to welcome our founder, Toluwani Akaome. Toluwani is a leadership learning and inclusion consultant with a strong bias for promoting, supporting, and inspiring leadership development and the socioeconomic inclusion and integration of marginalized, disadvantaged communities and those from migrant background. With professional qualifications in communications, human resource development, coaching, and entrepreneurship, she has worked extensively across sectors with various organizations all over the globe, driven by a vision to develop lives globally and to impact coming generations through promoting and supporting the development of small businesses in Ireland and Africa. She founded HerGenuityAfrika, an organization aligned with the United Nations Sustainable Goals for Poverty Eradication and Economic Stimulation through entrepreneurship. HerGenuityAfrika encourages equal opportunities and full participation of females of African descent, business leadership, and is committed to the empowerment of women through the use of ICT in FAD-led businesses. Her cross-culture skills sharing between Ireland and Africa makes Toluwani a true global leader who has been recognized by our clients and various communities as a nation builder. Toluwani is also the founder and the head of studies at Rogate College, an online adult learning platform. Also in line with her mission, she supports the leadership, personal and professional development of both men and women through a coaching and mentoring program under the I Inspire Best Version, IBVU brand. As part of her commitment to integration and community transformation, she volunteers as host of a weekly radio, Global Voices, and as newscaster on Community Radio Kilkenny City, www.crkc.ie. She's also a member of the steering committee of the Kilkenny African Community and PR consultant at Twilight Community Group. Over the years, she has contributed to fostering integration in Ireland through a book, Folk Tales from an African Childhood. Toluwani is currently a PhD researcher at Coventry University, UK, with research interest in migrant entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship education. She's married with children. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a round of applause for our founder, Toluwani Akaume.
Thank you very, very much, Gladys. Thank you very much for that introduction. And really, really, really excited to be here this morning. Absolutely delighted that you all made time today, a Saturday, to join us on this second edition of HerGenuityAfrika Entrepreneurs Summit and Awards 2020. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're from. I really, really appreciate you. It's great to see my friends, my colleagues, family members, leaders, mentors, business people, and all of you distinguished guests. I want to especially recognize Councillor Yemi Adenuga, who is a special guest here today, and to recognize Dr. Zemanuel, who is a patron of HerGenuityAfrika, and also to recognize Chief Mrs. Shimite Bello, a fantastic woman that you'll be listening to later on this afternoon. HerGenuityAfrika has the vision to see African women globally repositioned, recognized, and rebranded as business leaders, nation builders, and as agents of positive global transformation. Our goals are centered, just as the MC has said, our goals are centered around the SDG goals on poverty alleviation, entrepreneurship, on technology in business. And we are also committed to changing the narrative of the African woman. I really, there was a fantastic time yesterday during the panel session that we had, really enlightening, really inspiring, and we are going to build on from what we've learned there to actually walk the talk. Research indicates that entrepreneurship is key to eradicating poverty and underdevelopment and for generating value. And we know that the continent to which we all belong needs a rejuvenation in terms of development. Actually, it needs a reform. And that is part of the things that we want to do. A lot of other organizations are doing something similar. And we want to lend our voices, we want to lend our efforts, we want to lend our zeal and our passion also to this. So it is about promoting social economic cohesion, inclusion, and integration. Female of African descent can also contribute. We know, we have seen their works in different parts of the world, that we have the capacity, we have the capability to contribute in very significant ways to nation building through business leadership, both in the diaspora and on the continent. But sadly, we have been doing well individually, but collectively, the world is yet to see our brilliance, our resilience, our resourcefulness, our ingenuity, our excellence that are definitely inherent in us. And that is part of what we want to say. It's time for African women, women of African descent, to start showcasing who they really are. So this is an opportunity for that. We are a membership organization. We embrace not only men, but also not only women, but also men. Because we see our men not as competitors, we see them as collaborators, we see them as allies, we see them as our cheerleaders, our supporters, we see them as value co-creators. And that is why it's very important for us not just to have women within our network, but also to have the men, because we believe that gender parity is what will actually make women even contribute to women soaring as they should be. So thank you so much. for joining us today. It's going to be even better than yesterday, by God's grace. I'm really, really looking forward to that. And I want to thank all of our speakers and all of our plenary session speakers that are here this afternoon that are going to make today really worthwhile. And of course, all our participants, I want to especially thank you. God bless. So hand over to the MC. You're on mute. You're muted.
Thank you. You know, we are working in the new normal. So I know very soon my son will come in to say hello to everyone here. So that's the new normal. The new normal has become habitual. So it's no longer new. So don't be surprised when someone walks in to wave to all of you. And I won't be surprised if one of you, your children, comes to ask for, Mommy, when is lunch? When it's breakfast time? Thank you so much. It's so important for us as African women to position ourselves as global thought leaders. I would like you all to, if you know your social media handles, if you're media savvy like me, we are live on Facebook, please share the live page so that other people can connect to what we are enjoying this morning. And if you have a Twitter handle, the Twitter, please hashtag HGA Summit 2020, HGA Summit. Let's get the word out because it's so important. They say that if the media, the mainstream media, is not aware of what you're doing, you're practically doing nothing. And we are doing so much here that we want to, to share the news out and let people know what the African woman, the entrepreneur, what we are doing. Yesterday, we had an amazing lineup of dynamic women doing amazingly. And like Toluwani said, it's not about doing things individually, but when we do it collectively, we are more powerful and our voice resonates more and further. Thank you. And Nolan says here, good morning, everyone. So looking forward to the session and sharing thoughts, ideas, and experiences. Absolutely, that's what we're here for. Tino from Dublin, thank you for joining us. And welcome again. Chief Mrs. Shimite Bello from Nigeria, you're welcome. Amanda Tamara Nioni, welcome from Tullamore, connecting from Mullingar, Placida, you're welcome. And Galaxy A20E to everyone, you're welcome as well. You're welcome everyone. To those connecting on Facebook, you're absolutely welcome. So the first session will be exploring the concept of group economics. It will be presented by Dr. Joseph Anku Robert. He was an amazing panelist yesterday, and it's my pleasure to read his profile. Dr. Joseph Anku Roberts is a UK-based medical doctor who operates as both visionary and perfectionist, which enables him to be both a leader and a facilitator. His childhood dream for a more equal and just world, free from human suffering, was realized upon completion of his medical degree, with a research component in diabetes mellitus in 2009. He completed his foundation medical training in general medicine, general vascular surgery, acute emergency medicine, ophthalmology, infectious disease, and psychiatry. Subsequently, and true to his assertion, and a good education equips learners to solve problems. He has gained broad skill set in all the major branches of clinical practice, emergency medicine, head and neck surgery, accident and emergency. This understanding of the UK health ecosystem translates to an intrinsic knowledge of where the fault lines are. Joseph is keen on leveraging this insight to design context-appropriate and equitable health systems for Africa. A byproduct of being a generalist is a greater appreciation of intersectionality in problem solving. Consequently, it values a holistic approach to solving African problems. Having created a framework which advocates knowledge sharing and group economics as fundamental tenets in catalyzing a virtuous circle of ethical transformation for the global African community. His passion is to see a revitalized African family healed from generational trauma, shorn of a dependency mindset, finally taking a place as the head of all continents. Joseph founded VitalAfrica for this very purpose. Is ably supported and motivated by his home team, his wife Amede, and his two adorables, Theodore 4 and baby Sophia. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Dr. Joseph Anku Roberts.
Thank you very much for that introduction. So we've just got a few minutes to explore the concept. Welcome everyone, good morning. I just want to talk briefly about this concept of group economics. Am I able to share my screen? Yeah. Okay, so let me just get some feedback. Right. Okay. So are you able to see that? Yeah. Okay. So so this first slide is quite interesting. With all that's happened this year, these are some of the let's just say social justice messages on the vest of NBA stars. And one caught my attention, and that's what I'll be talking about. It's right at the bottom, and this is it. It's about group economics. So I was interested because we'd been talking about this for the best part of a year, and then coronavirus happened, and we saw what happened with the George Floyd protests. And so this particular individual is a Nigerian NBA basketball player. And this is the message he chose to put on his jersey. So I was very excited about this because we'd been talking about this for a long time. Well, without going into what it is, I wanted to provide some context as to it's a solution to a problem. So what's the problem? Well, the problem is this, that we're using the wealthiest African diaspora as a case example here. The African American community is the most powerful and wealthiest African diaspora. But when this report came out, it confirmed what many people had already been talking about. So this report was released on September the 11th, 2017. It was authored by 4 individuals, 2 African Americans and 2 Caucasian Americans. And they looked at the wealth gap as opposed to the income gap. And some of the key points was that this is in 2017, so 3 years ago, that if the racial wealth divide was left unaddressed, the median Black household wealth was in a path to hit 0 by 2053. And this made the headlines, was covered by so many publications. The Guardian and the newspaper picked it up, the BBC. In contrast, and the Latino household wealth would hit 0 20 years later. But in sharp contrast, median white household wealth would climb to $137,000 US by the same time. So yeah. And so there's a disparity. They were saying actually focusing on incomes actually masks the severity of the problem, because income, if 2 doctors are doing the same jobs, they might earn roughly the same. We do know that there's an income gap based on ethnicity. We know that, but it's not as wide as this. So how did we get here? Well, the simple problem is this. There are systemic issues, but I want to leave that to one side. I want to focus on our agency, because I don't really like the narrative of a victim mentality. Societal problems we do need to advocate for, but the simple fact is there's a lack of intra-community trade, just as there is a lack of intra-African trade. So this is released, this is a report by a member of African community working for the Brooks Institute in New York. And she found that in 2017, again, the same year, intra-regional trade made up 17% of Africa's exports. So Africa just exports most of its raw materials outside the continent. In contrast, 59% of Asian countries traded with it amongst themselves, and 67, my screen's covered there. And this is a problem, because if you don't trade with each other, there is a downside to that, and we'll come back to that. So what's the solution? Well, the solution is to do the opposite. We need to trade amongst ourselves. I want to frame this in the context of a few African, let's just say, ideals. So this symbol is a symbol of unity, emerger as it's called. And we do need to trade more. We know that a residual effect of the Berlin Conference is to divide Africa arbitrarily into countries and small economic blocks, which made it easier to exploit. So we do need to come together, and we do need to trade smartly and trade as a united front. And the African Union realizes that, which is why the African Continental Free Trade Area comes into effect January the 1st this year. That would be a game changer for Africa. So this idea of Ubuntu, which Mandela famously espoused, that to put the well-being of the community ahead of the short-termism and individualism that we see so much in the capitalistic model, and utilizing technology to help us do that. We talked so much yesterday about how technology can really help us in our goals. So this is a document that was produced by Vera Songwe, who works at the UN, an African woman. And she said this, that when African countries trade within themselves, they create more knowledge transfer and they create more value. And this is what we want to practice in our communities. If you want to build generational wealth, if you think about the Walmarts of this world, you know, these companies have been there for hundreds of years, and they're still going strong because they're quite strategic in how they've kept wealth in the family. And I just want to say this, since we're talking about redefining the African woman, at the center of the African family is the African woman. She builds the community, she holds it together. And so the concept of group economics just says this. We have to be intentional in the way we conduct our economics. We have to trade amongst ourselves. We have to support African-owned businesses. Because in doing so, we create value and we give ourselves a greater voice. If we we have businesses in our communities, then we're more likely to nurture the up and coming generation. We spend so much money educating our young people, and then when they come out of university, if there are no jobs in the community to train them up, then that knowledge, that investment leaves the community. So that's something that African governments have realized. But I think individually, and as a community, it's something that it's a responsibility that we need to take on. And it's why we've created VitalAfrika as a knowledge sharing and investment platform. We do want to build wealth on the continent, support wealth generation on the continent, because that solves the problem, several problems, in fact: unemployment, immigration. Young people are leaving the continent and dying on the Mediterranean because they see no prospects for them on the continent. So our work is targeted at supporting any endeavor that upskills, reskills, and empowers young people to start their own businesses. And we know that girls are central to that. Historically, girls on the continent have been marginalized. But there are great efforts going on in our communities to empower young girls, because as we heard yesterday, you train a girl, you really feed a village. So, so these are some of the things we're exploring. I think I'll leave it there, but I just wanted to say that, you know, if we trade, watch this space, but trading amongst ourselves will facilitate the knowledge transfer and create more value in our community, and it will also solve the dependency mindset. Because if young people can see that there's value in the community, then they're more likely to be loyal. They're more likely to then employ other young people in the community. If we don't fund our young people, they're likely to take their skills elsewhere. So that's just a brief overview in terms of group economics. It's simple. It's just being intentional and holding each other to high standards as businesses and as individuals. So, no, thank you for allowing me to share this. And I hope that in going forward, this will be something that we're intentional as we interact and as we collaborate. But definitely, I think this is a mindset. There's that famous trope that a pound or a dollar stays in the Asian community, you know, so many more times. But when it comes to the African community, a dollar stays in the community for only 6 hours, and that's not a way to build wealth. The Jewish community 17 times, Asian community 13 times, Caucasian community 11 times. I wanted to show you the video, but I wasn't able to get that working. But you'll see this. But whatever the figure is, it's 6 or 7 hours for a dollar to stay in the Black community, and that doesn't really facilitate wealth building. So I think that's the problem that we need to address. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that brilliant talk. And I think it was mentioned yesterday as well that one of the ways we build wealth, just like you said, is by buying from one another, supporting one another's businesses. And I think one of the strategies in Irish business market, they tell you buy local, buy Irish. That's the way we build wealth. So before you go to the next county, can you find what you need in your community? And if I may ask, why is it that most Africans don't buy from one another? If I can ask you, why is it that we don't support one another's businesses? What's your supposition on that?
So I think it's a multifactorial problem, but if I like going back to the genesis of things. Obviously, Africa had its own economic systems prior to colonization. And, you know, the system of, scholars will say generally it's agreed that it was more a system of barter trading. There might have been some, I would say it was mainly barter trading. So you determine the value of your transactions. I have something you need, you have something I need. and we come to a mutual agreement and we exchange. So that was what existed before colonization. But there's been a break from that. That's okay. I think what's happened is we need to realize that the Berlin Conference is not just a relic of history. I think it was deliberate. European leaders sat down for 3 or 4 months to strategically plan how to effectively loot Africa. We know that. That's not even controversial. We know that, and we know that they had to do that because Portuguese merchants were pirating and stealing from other European merchants. So they had to come to an agreement. Otherwise, it would have been fighting over, and destroying each other's economic interests. So they had to come to an agreement to say, look, this is your spot on the planet, on the continent. And so my father comes from the Togoland. So Togoland is eastern part of Ghana. So the boundary lines were cut through. So we now have a situation where half the tribe was in modern day Ghana and other half is in modern day Togo. Of course, Togo is under German rule. Ghana is under British rule. So in time, you had communities speaking different languages, couldn't cross from easily or freely from one country to another. So you stop trade effectively. And we see this, and the infrastructure that was built was made to support extraction. So the roads all led from the mines, not to the interior, but to the ports to be shipped out of Europe. And so that's the external thing. Obviously, Africa has also failed in, or it's taken too long to realize that it needs to reverse that. So some of our leaders have just continued the status quo of, not adding value to the raw materials. The international trading system also hasn't helped. We know this because people have written books about it. So Confessions of an Economic Hitman, you can have a look at that book. So instead of now so with independence came the realization that you can actually achieve the same economic means without invading certain countries. You can do that by waging economic warfare. So debt is a weapon in this regard. And debt diplomacy has really crippled developing countries. So these are some of the things, and if you also buy into the mainstream narrative of Africa being poor, diseased, and dying, any business person wouldn't want to do business in that environment. So even up to this day, if I talk to businesses in the West about trading with Africa, unless they're savvy enough, the perception is that Africa is too risky to do business with.
Thank you. Sorry.
Those are some of the issues. Yeah. No, thank you very much.
Absolutely, you're spot on the issue of narration. I remember a private television station in Nigeria was set up to challenge the narration for coming out of Nigeria. So the aim of this TV station, if I remember correctly, is to share the African experience from an African perspective. Thank you so much, Dr. Joseph Anku Roberts. We appreciate your contribution. And I've already taken down that note, the Confessions of an Economic Hitman. I'm definitely getting that book. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. A round of applause for Dr. Joseph Anku, or a thumbs up for him if we can see, so that we know that he did a very good job. And like a Nigerian comedian will say, you have done very well. Well done. Thank you very much. We have loads of contribution here. Someone says there is a problem of inferiority complex amongst us. We look down upon our own. However, that being said, as people of color, we tend to want to make 200%, 300% profit on one sale. Well, things like from programs like this, we learn how to do better. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Now we move to the next segment of our program today. Ladies and gentlemen, sorry, I'm trying to see this. Oh, thank you very much. It is time for me to introduce this amazing and brilliant woman. She's going to give our keynote speech. Ladies and gentlemen, it's with pleasure that I call on Chief Mrs. Shimite Bello. Mrs. Shimite Bello is currently executive assistant to the governor of Delta State in Nigeria on export initiatives and the coordinator of the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, UNIDO Center. She's a multiple award winner in her areas of interest, which include community development, microfinance, youth and women development, media, and in agricultural development. She is a global leader with expertise in microfinance, MSME development, human capital development, export, financial literacy training, mentorship, job and wealth creation through innovation in the agricultural and solid minerals value chain, utilizing grassroots women and youth entrepreneurs as drivers of the process. She also currently serves as the founder and group president of Quintessential Business Women Association, QBWA, a non-governmental organization with United Nations consultative status and works with different UN organizations. QBWA has partnered with CBN, BOI, BOA, NDDC, DFID, and USAID. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a warm welcome for Chief Mrs. Shimite Bello.
Hello, everyone. I am speaking to you first. First of all, thank you for having me. I'm speaking to you from the rural part of Delta State.
Whoa.
So I'm sweating here. We're trying to deliver women for elective positions. There's going to be an election coming up in March. They are selecting candidates now. I have been moving. I just came and sat here this moment because I'd given my word and I don't know how to go back on my word. So I really enjoyed what the last speaker said. And I will, as much as my topic is women in business leadership and national development, I will veer into a lot of areas to give us a good understanding. I have no slides. I'm really, really glad my internet is up because I was worried as I was going through. So right now, well, I'm speaking to you from worry. So let me get straight into the topic. Women in business leadership. So my background says I've worked with CBN, that's the Central Bank of Nigeria, but I'm actually a consultant for people at the bottom of the pyramid. There are a few questions the last speaker addressed, but I handle export as well. So I also deal with how we get goods intra-Africa and beyond. So the first thing, let me just remove the myth, first of all. The policy that sets up how we get money from outside the country gives Africa money to farm, gives Africa money to mine. A lot of the times when Africans ask for a loan to maybe turn our gold into earrings and necklaces, you hardly get approval for that. But if you just want to go raw mining, you will get approval. If you want to farm cocoa, you will get approval. When you want to make chocolates, it will be difficult to get the funding. If any of you were very alert to what was happening in African Development Bank, there was a real big tussle between the president of the African Development Bank and the Western world. Why was this tussle? I think you guys need to check on that. He did a shifting from production. in the agricultural sector to more of value addition. And that was not encouraged because 60% and over of the raw materials needed to keep the factories running in Asia and the Western countries come from Africa. So once Africans decide they want to add value, you would see a war. So we have to have another. So what I'm trying to say, don't think Africans are stupid. We're not foolish at all. But if you see the trade war between China and America, it is America trying to say, you are not going to be number one. We're going to fight you on 5G. We're going to fight you on everything we can fight you on so we can retain world dominance. But China was able to outsmart the West to a large extent. They didn't see them coming. They didn't see Asia coming, Vietnam, all of these countries the way they did. So Japan, when they were building after the Second World War. So now they are wiser as to how to put us down to ensure there is no repeat of the Asian experience. So let's first of all understand that Africans are not stupid, but there is now more measures. It's going to be, we're going to look for another method to build in spite of what we know. So we can't learn from China. It won't work. We have to learn a new learning. Now, in learning a new learning, there is a solution which the Africans in diaspora and the African Americans have to help us in. And what is this solution? It can also lead to death, but this is the solution. If we own the gold, we own the cocoa, we own the diamonds, the columbites, tantalite, you name it, rubber, it means that what we have is more expensive than money. It means we don't necessarily need to take loans because your money is nothing if the owner of the product refuses to do a transaction sequence. But what it is that there's a lot of muscling to ensure we continue to do these transaction sequences. But if we agree that we have the resource, if Europe had this resource or America, trust me, resource will be more expensive than money. The market system has made money more expensive than resource, which should not be the case. But we must trade. So what is the thought I have in terms of this? So I'm veering a little, because of the conversation I first heard from the first speaker, I'm veering a little. The answer to what you're looking for is not written in any book. It's good to read, and that's somebody else's certificate. Most of these writers are not really people that have learned from African experience. They're people from Harvard and Yale, and it's still an indoctrination process. You will never learn much until you understand how to reinterpret where you are and create a new beginning. But it's good to learn, so I'm not going to discountenance that. I am not one that is into certificate. I did go to university, I have a certificate, but I trained something called certificate. So let me explain that to you. Certificate means there's something you know. There's something you understand. So I studied political science, that is my certificate. I do export, that is my certificate. When you perfect whatever it is that you know, and you start to document it, every certificate came from somebody's understanding. We don't have enough Africans putting down their understanding that becomes a degree. We need to look into that. That is story for those in the academia. I mean, the hard rock, physical on the field space. So what I'm trying to say invariably is until you stop to think what they want you to think, until you stop thinking that the only understanding is the one you have been learning in the school that has been put by people who don't understand you. Nobody from Yale or Harvard can tell me how to be an African. They can't even get it. They can't even understand it. But a lot of people go to these places, learn whatever they've told them is their understanding of Africa. But the truth of the matter is market forces determine what happens. So no matter what you do, you can't go against market forces. So let me come back to what I think will be a solution since I'm in this space. I'm right here on the ground. Before, if we can do this, any country comes to trade with any African country, this has to be agreed by African Union and the African Union desk in the United Nations. They must have an African on their board as a senior board member, or they must have an African as part of the executive team. That is how you get to learn the intra-working of any organization. And when this happens, that you cannot do business, you cannot buy gold, you cannot buy diamond, you cannot buy any of these things unless you have an African there. It makes our exchange and our person very expensive, because you now know that there is an agreement among African countries that we're ready to trade with you, Pfizer, you name it. Even what they're doing with coronavirus, there's a lot of Africans in there. But you can't go anywhere until we're in top management. We don't want to be top research. We don't have time for that. We want to be in the places where our pen makes a difference. And before you put that pen down, you will get a lot of information in order to make a decision. We are not really on decision-making places. I'm speaking for women, I'm speaking for Africans because of how the conversation began. We have not positioned ourselves, we have not placed ourselves, we have not given ourselves value. A lot of the times we seem to be playing catch-up. We seem to be begging. We own the resource. We act as if we don't. We own the youngest population in the world, which is supposed to be where the active space is. We act as if we don't. We have a high population density. We act as if we don't. We don't have hurricanes. We don't have any of these things. We act as if we don't. So we need to sit down and look at what is positive about us, and we need to come to an agreement. But the first thing is, nobody should trade with Africa if there is no African at top management level, board or otherwise. So let's get that first part started, because that is how you can, if you're not on the table of decision, you can't change anything. You're just going to keep putting up slides. Maybe this is why I don't like slides very much. They don't impress me. They don't change anything. There's somewhere we need to go. And when I start to see that and have to have the right information, it doesn't matter if Ghana speaks English, Benin speaks French, Angola, it doesn't matter. Money has one language. And that's what we need to do. We need to follow the money. And from the last I checked, we control the money, but we have not controlled what we have, which is the resource, which, as I said in the beginning, is more expensive than money. We set that aside. The second thing I want you to know, a lot of the conflict in Africa is not organized by Africans. We can never move forward until we understand the gimmicks of the West. And I'm not talking about the people in Africa, I'm talking about the Africans living outside of Africa. When you see a problem in Congo, there is a resource there that needs to be stolen. The only way the West can steal or the East can steal is when there's instability, and they sponsor these instabilities because they've studied us. They speak our language, they speak Igbo, Yoruba, you name it, Swahili. They want to know where the weakness is, and when they need to strike, they use it. We live abroad, we don't study nothing. We just live the same way we live in Africa, hand to mouth. I need a house, I need a car, I need a good job, I need to know my children will be fine and I can pay their university tuition. So long as we keep thinking at that level, we will keep being at that level. We need to think globally. And most of you have food to eat. It is hungry people that think like that, but we take our hungry mentality everywhere we go. Those of you living in Ireland and in the UK, look at what the Indian community does. They buy stuff, they buy areas, they take control, then they put their political representation, because politics and economics are twins. You can't separate one from the other. So from where you are sitting, watch what the Jews are doing, watch what the Indians are doing, then try to see which one of them you can imbibe and still domesticate in the way that it works. We don't have to do it verbatim like them, but we can try to understand that you must control your immediate environment economically. So that's why I like some of what the last speaker said. Whose bread are you eating? Whose restaurant are you eating at? The only language Westerners understand is money. And so long as all your picket fences do not affect their source of income, you will never be on the table. So you have to touch their money. They like their money more than their wives. They like their money more than their life. So you need to see, how do I get a portion of their money, as well as taking a portion of that money into my community. When you build a financially and economically strong community, you will be invited to that table. There's a table where the Jews meet with the British government, where no matter whether it's Israel, whatever, they don't care. They are on that table. The Arabs have even made it to the table. Africans have not. So there's something we're not yet doing. And like I said to Toluwani, I'm not really good at talking to myself. I'm not really good. I like questions. I like interactive. So I just told her I was going to speak for 15 minutes. This is the topic. How do we get there? I dare to say I'm very versed on the topic I've been given, but I want something actionable that you want to hear from me, knowing that I've been to almost 32 of the African countries, and I've been to all 36 states in Nigeria, talking economic development, women development, intertrade issues, industrial development matters, and let's see how we can build from that. So I'll just say thank you. That is my intro.
Thank you so much. You've hit on so many points that I don't even know where to begin. Thank you so much. You've said a lot of things, that resonate with some of the things that were mentioned yesterday. We had Councillor Remu yesterday also talking about representation. That we have to come on board. For us to see the changes that we desire, we have to be in positions where we can make those changes. Thank you so much. And we like you mentioned as well, that for them to understand, our narratives has to be documented. For people to understand where you're coming from, we have to document our experiences instead of gleaning from another person's perspective of who we are. Thank you so much. Let me read some of the comments that I have here. Claudia said, nothing for us without us. Sorry, wow. The comment just ran, said nothing for us without us. Money has one language, truth drops, meaning that you dropped the truth. We do not study our competition. We do not think globally. Hungry mentality, the table is shaking. Thank you for shaking this table. I think at the end of this day, we don't need an old table, we need a new table. And one of the things that I remember one of the speakers yesterday talked, it's about presentation. That most of the African businesses are presentation. We have a problem with presentation. You walk into a store, it is not well presented. It turns off customers. So we need to see how other thriving businesses, how the Indian man presents his businesses. What are the strategies? What are the things he's done that has made him a success? Instead of, it's a mindset shift, a mindset change. And thank you, because all that you've said, you're speaking from experience. You're not just talking off the books. You've been there, you've traveled around these countries, you've seen how it is done. Thanks for sharing with us. This is what HerGenuityAfrika is all about, actionable steps. Thank you very much. Thank you for this. And can we have a round of applause for Chief Mrs. Shimite Bello? She's done so well.
And see, there's some questions waiting for you. If people have questions.
Okay. Okay. Amanda here says, Amanda, you have a question. Please, can you unmute yourself and ask your question?
Yes, thank you so much. That was quite an enlightening presentation, like someone said, delivered with so much passion. I suppose my question now is, as a young person myself, and having seen some of these barriers and experienced them, even back in my country of origin, I have noticed that there's really a gap between maybe your young women from the age of 25 to the age of 40 in terms of getting mentorship, in terms of getting funding. I think even when I was trying to set up my own business, I had so many challenges. One of that, I don't have enough experience to be considered as someone who's worth investing. But at the same time, it then leaves so many, I suppose, policies either target you when you're still within university or the institutions of learning, or they then look at women who have now got experience, the lived experience from the age of like 40 going up. So we now have like this gap, okay, in my view anyway, from like your women between the age of 25 to 40, who really don't have enough supports, who don't have, being, I suppose, given to that area. So my question is, how do we then begin to break down those barriers, even in positions of power, you know, being able to occupy spaces of authority? It becomes, there's a gap, I suppose. Maybe it was the experience from my country. There was a gap with women within that age range. So how do we begin to break down those barriers? How do we begin to, you know, to realign, especially with that target group in particular, as someone who also falls in that range?
Okay, thank you very much for the question. So I'll first of all tell you, business is all about beauty. Anybody who tells you different has lied to you. The first step is you have to look good, you have to sound good, you have to smell good, and you have to package good, and you have to sell whatever you have to sell in 60 seconds. Now, what do you want to sell in business? Number one, when did you begin? Number two, how many units of that thing? I'm now going with a trade example. How many units do you have? How many units do you produce in a week or a month? How many units are you selling? What kind of profits do you make? If this person agrees to put your products in their shop, what is the margin? Is it 25%? What are you giving the person? You need to be able to answer all of this. Nobody's going to give you anything because you're 25. It doesn't exist. It will never exist. Do not come with, I'm new, help me mentality. Nobody cares if you're young. Nobody cares if you're new. People are in business for profit. So you need to now move your mind from I am new mentality to you need me. A lot of the times women speak as if they're begging for something that they shouldn't be begging for. Every man, and I'm bringing this into business, marriage, politics, if you keep acting as if you don't have any value on the table, even when you have value and people can see your value, they will misuse you, disuse you, reuse you, and dump you. You will be tired and retired before you are 35 years old. So you need to, first of all, look at yourself and tell yourself, I have value. Then what I'm bringing to the table, if you don't take it, is your loss. You need to be able to convince that person of that. There are some people that come as conference attendees, but because of the way they carry themselves, they put them on the high table. Me, for one, I come into your event as an attendee, I always finish up on the high table, and I am not humble. So I don't say, oh, please, don't put me on the high table. Girl, I'm all dressed for your high table. So if you don't have someone, you're going to pick somebody out and put me up there. That is how business is. So for me, I always have business. And for the people that don't have business, they will never have business. So while you're crying that the door is not open, somebody is tired of the doors being open for them. Attitude, content. Women are very, they call it humility. I call it being an apologist. Know your business. Woman, know thyself. Sell thyself. Sometimes you may not have a mentor. You will start mentoring yourself in front of the mirror. There is no door that won't open to you. And every successful person has heard no at least 20 times. No, they show for body. Let me speak in worry language. When they say no, you go and try again. You will break them down. So that is what I will tell you. I'm not going to tell you to draw yourself to a person because I don't know the people. So let me veer into something else. Sometimes when you bring an idea and you share it with someone who you look up to and is probably a mentor, they may advise you based on their capacity and not on your capacity. They may advise you based on the family they know you are from and think you don't qualify to be part of their circle and you don't know that. They may advise you based on their fear and not on your potential. So that's why I'm scared to say, go here, because you won't hear from me again. And what if you met somebody who is actually afraid that when they tell you the truth, you will come and shadow them out? Some people don't know that everybody has a lane and that the lanes are different. There is space for everybody at the top through different channels with different products, with different abilities. So that is why I'm scared of advising you, have a mentor. If you find a good mentor, I really, really want that. But in case you find a mentor who your spirit is larger than, who your destiny is larger than, and they give you, before that destiny comes out, they now belittle you based on their knowledge and their limits. That would be dangerous, but that's the best I can say.
Thank you so much. It's so important. If you can't find a mentor, mentor yourself in the mirror. You've mentioned deep insights there, and it's important to affirm yourself. And Nolan says there is a well-known saying from Ireland: if you are not invited to the table, bring your own chair, meaning never give up. And I believe Nolan has a question. And can you unmute yourself to ask your question, please?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for such a wonderful presentation. I was very interested there to hear some of the very recent comments, and I would say, you know, that what can we all do as women? It doesn't matter kind of where we come from or whatever. What can we all do to support each other? Because kind of in my own experience, I find that it's women that knock women, whether it's in business or whether it's in political life, economic life, social life. What can we do as women to build a stronger global network that will protect us going forward? Because we have other generations coming behind us. You know, I have 9 grandchildren, 3 girls. What can we do to ensure that we are protecting and giving young women in particular the right skills now to move forward, to be more positive than we were led to believe, or maybe even allowed to believe in times gone past?
Okay, thank you very much. Irrespective of the country you're from, women have been systematically oppressed.
Absolutely.
Without them realizing. And every time women come together in a meaningful way, one woman amongst those women will be promoted and then used to put the others down. It's just, it has worked for so many centuries. So what we need to do is to have conferences and talks, not the kind of talk, you see some women who will say, I have a good marriage, I have a good life, I'm making 6 figures, always telling lies. If you see a successful woman, you usually see a very unsuccessful marriage. Because a lot of men across the globe are not really trained to marry a very successful woman. So it is a struggle. Some days you won't make the bed. So the first thing we need to do is to call women out when they start their lives. Oh, I can cook a mean casserole and still meet the bottom line. Maybe she does it once in a while, but that's not really the truth. So the first place we have to speak as women is from the place of truth. My truth today is I don't have the energy to do the makeup. I'm in the village and I'm sweating, and that is fine. So the first thing I'm telling you is look at where I'm talking from. It's not perfect. The most hardworking women have many days of sweating. The next thing we need to do as women is to learn to forgive ourselves every day. Oh, I said hello to her, she didn't answer me. So what? Oh, I spoke to her, she insulted me. If a woman doesn't insult you, who will they insult? A lot of the times when they do that, it's not because of you, they weren't even thinking of you. Usually women react to what they care about. They react to who they love. So if somebody who they love, their husband, their kids, somebody really made them upset that day, it wasn't about you. They probably didn't hear your greeting. They probably didn't realize how they interacted with you. So we need more emotional intelligence, not just for the woman who is upset, even for the woman who is receiving the negative vibes. And success and working with women is not something that you say, if I'm happy, I'll do. It's just a decision. I made a decision that the woman who will offend me has not been born, that their parents haven't met and they've not had sex. So it's a decision. So there's really nothing anyone will do to push me away from helping my fellow woman. So these are some of the things that needs to be discussed. I don't hear enough of that at women's conferences. I keep hearing a lot of surface dressing. But a lot of the times we just need to hear that you have to make a decision that you would love the woman even when she doesn't deserve it. That's number one. Number two, you can intentionally say 30% of the business I'm going to have, I'm going to try to work with a woman, and she is 90% of the time going to irritate me, but I'm going to soldier through and give each person 5 years to see how it works. When you have a woman who is sold on you, who is passionate about you, she will sell your business. This is what we do. We use our mouth for good. We use our mouth for bad. So we're going to work on each other. We're not going to let them get away. You will drag them by force. You have to make that extra because nobody has done it. Men have a way of mediating in the golf course and at the different places they meet. Women don't really have that. Where women do best is in church. Fantastic, we all love Jesus. But we need to have another intentional place for business, economics, and building each other up. So my advice or my solution is know that they will offend you. Decide that the woman who will offend you has not been born. Give her a few years and see how that goes before you write her off. Then you will now be removed from one woman pulling another woman down, because some of you who are all holier than thou are probably as guilty of pulling a woman down without realizing, but justifying it because you're well justified in it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that contribution. Like I would say, if your vision consumes you enough, you won't have time for distraction. And we all need emotional intelligence, every one of us. And I think it's about time that children are taught this from home, and it's included in school curriculums for children, everyone, to have some semblance of emotional intelligence. Thank you for the question, Anne. Thank you for the contribution. We really appreciate you. Can we give her another round of applause? We appreciate you. A woman is beautiful. You don't have to worry whether you have eyebrows or not. That's not the issue. It is what you have to give to the society at large. We celebrate you, wonderful woman. Thank you very much. It's time for us to go for, it's time for our plenary session, where we'll go into different rooms to meet different professionals and entrepreneurs for different topics. And some of the topics, the rooms today, we have a room for building a viable consulting business. We have speaking to hold attention, helping entrepreneurs stand out, the importance of social enterprise as a response to global disruptions. And I have the people that will be anchoring these different sessions. For building a viable consulting business, I have Hannah Green, lead consultant at Bancat Consulting. Hannah Green established Bancat Consulting in 2007 to provide research and support to the community and international development sectors. She works with Irish public bodies, including the Department of Foreign Affairs and local authorities, international NGOs and international organizations, including the European Union Fundamental Rights Agency. She is based in Ireland, but has provided training and facilitation in many parts of Europe and Africa. For more information, you can visit our website, www.bancat.ie. I'm sure she'll share with you more details about what she does in the room, that if you fall into our room. Then we also have Tokumbo Ojekunle, CEO, Pedigree and Style Media Lagos, and he will be handling speaking to hold attention, helping entrepreneurs stand out. Tokumbo Ojekunle has over 40 years of broadcast experience, spanning notable media organizations such as Radio Lagos, Echo FM, Radio Continental, Max FM, and Television Continental, all in Lagos State, Nigeria. He has over the years coordinated broadcast functions such as news operations, reporting, editing, presentation, and production, content development, and station management. As a seasoned broadcast journalist and consummate communications expert, he is driven by the passion for training up and coming practitioners in the art of excellent delivery of scripts and presentation for public speaking, radio, and television performances. He has over time, through his experience as a broadcast journalist, initiated content in the area of presentation and production of features and documentary projects. And we have Anne Nolan, who will be taking the importance of social enterprise as a response to global disruptions. Anne is a humanitarian supporting vulnerable migrants since 2006. As a human rights practitioner, she ensures that Ireland lives up to its commitment to fully protect and serve those who are fleeing global persecution. She has a proven track record in integration projects, development and management, providing technical expertise and leadership in this sector, and is experienced in interagency working to maximize outcomes within the community. She is a skilled cultural anthropology researcher, policy developer, and implementer, and has the ability to adapt and interact in a multicultural environment, and is now focusing our work through effective integration and community building strategies, particularly for vulnerable migrant women and children, which is evidenced through recognized programs regionally, nationally, and internationally. An experienced lecturer at third level and as a training provider, and has delivered presentations at the United Nations and other national and academic venues. So I think some people had already filled forms on which rooms they want to join. And for those that don't have rooms, I believe we have a strategy, a plan for dividing people.
Yes,
into
thank
different
you very
rooms.
much for that. So just quickly explain. So we did send out forms for people to fill in what they wanted to hear, which room they wanted to get into for the plenary session, but we didn't have quite a few people, only about 5 people filled it in. So I have pre-assigned those people into those rooms. For the rest of us who didn't fill in the form, that's perfectly fine. So I'm just going to open up the rooms now, and whichever area that you want to get into, that's perfectly fine. Just step into any room that you want to get into. So there are 4 rooms. Apologies for the last person. We've had quite a number of hitches with this particular session because some of our speakers fell ill and all of that, but it's all fine. So please do go into the room that you want. The rooms are already open, and then, you know, just take it from there. It's going to be between 30 to 45 minutes, maximum 45 minutes. Your speakers will interact with you in that particular area of expertise, and you can certainly ask them any questions that you want. So we go into the rooms now. Thank you. Can we see do we see where to go? Is it open for everybody? Can we see?
Not yet.
Okay. Okay. Can we see it now?
No.
Okay, you can't see anything from your end?
Yeah.
No. Okay, did you see a message from me? Okay. So just bear with me for a moment. I'm just going to close those rooms. Okay. Okay, can we go into the rooms now? It will ask us, it will tell us to go into a room. Can't see anything still?
No.
No? Okay. That's not working. So what I'm going to do is just open.
No, it's working.
Okay.
All you need to do, one of your options, there should be join a room.
Yes, that's.
If you need to, yeah, they need to, you have to check your options, please. All participants, please check your options. There should be an option where you click on join the room.
Join the room.
And then when you click on that, you see the various rooms that are created.
Excellent. So do we see that option to join the room?
And where is the options?
The options.
Check, yeah, beside the chat or participants, you see all those options there where you have your mute button, start a video. Don't you have any of those options?
No.
No.
Okay.
Sorry, I think that only works on newer versions of Zoom. So yeah, I don't think everyone has the option to go in and out of a breakout group at will. I think it has to be assigned by the meeting host. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have assigned to those who did put in their.
If that's the case, then I think you still need to indicate the interest of the rooms you need to join. So the host can actually assign you to the room.
Yeah, if you put those of us at the speakers or in the facilitators into rooms, then if you can use the chat to put in maybe the preferences.
Okay, the thing that I have actually assigned, I actually named the rooms. So there's leveraging technology for business, there's building a viable consultancy, helping entrepreneurs stand out, and social enterprise as a response. So it is there. Okay, so it's going to close in. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up all rooms, right? Right. So I'm going to ask, I'm going to do it manually now. So I'm going to ask Sakinat, you will be in room 1. Okay. So I'm open up the.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
I can't see. No, there's no notification for me yet.
Okay, I'm going to do that again. Okay, so there's room 1 is leveraging technology for business. Room 2 is building a viable consultancy. Room 3 is helping entrepreneurs stand out. And room 4 is social enterprise as a response to global disruptions. So I'm surprised that you can't see anything. So that's a bit of a challenge.
Can I say something?
Yes, is that Hannah?
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
Sylvia.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I was in room 3, I think, social outstanding, and there was nobody there. And then I was thrown out. But no, somebody did join for a few seconds, and then we were thrown out.
So how did you join that?
Because there was a join message.
Yes, there is meant to be a join message because I had named the rooms. So okay, just give me another minute, please, and then it will reset itself. Yes. If I send the invitations again, it's going to take me time because I have to do it manually, and there's no opportunity for that. So just 45 seconds to go. Okay, thank you for bearing with us there. Okay, rooms, please. Mr. Jackula, your room is room 3. So when we open up again, you go to room 3. Okay. Just a little bit longer. I'm gonna clear up everything I've done before. I'm just gonna start from scratch. Thank you for your patience. So now. Okay. Okay, so room 1 is leveraging. Room 2 is, sorry, what did I say room 2 was? Room 2 is, can somebody help me out there, please?
I think that's me, consulting business.
Oh, thank you, Hannah. And room 3 is helping entrepreneurs stand out. And room 4 is Ann Nolan with social enterprise. So I'm opening up rooms now. So can you see anything to join? It's the same process. Join breakout room. Can we see that?
No, not on my side.
No,
I can't see any either of you.
Is there anyone who can see it?
I can't see it as well.
I can't see.
I can't see.
Right. Sorry about that. I accidentally put myself in the breakout room. Okay, so I'm not sure what's going on. If this is not going to work, we'll have to just hold off here for a minute and go to the next thing so that, because if you see room 1, it says join, which I can see from my screen here. Okay.
I think the last option that we have is to make everyone co-host. And then they will definitely get the option to join the room.
Okay.
That's the only last option. No need to.
Let me see the participants choose room. So can we see anything now? No?
Yeah.
We can see something now?
Room, yeah.
Okay, we can see something now, yeah?
Yep.
Okay. You can't?
I don't see nothing.
Okay, I can see breakout room.
Yes, yeah, so if you can see breakout room, join the ones you want to join. Okay, I think it's working now. So Amanda, which room do you want to be in? Amanda, Tamara?
Any, I'm fine. I think any will be a learning experience.
Okay. Deborah, which room do you want to be in?
The consulting one.
That's room 2.
Yeah.
Dolapo, which one do you want to be in? Eniola, which one do you want to be in? I'm assigning people manually because that's the only thing I can do now.
Yeah, I think I really, well done, Toluwani. Thank you. I really don't mind any of the groups. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, I'm going to do it very quickly. Esther, I'm just going to put people in rooms based on those I know and those I don't know. Mama Shi, where do you want to be? This is the reason why we wanted you to be.
Can you please put me in room 1?
Okay, who
leveraging technology?
Sorry, I don't know who that is.
That's me. Hello, everyone. Good morning. This is Mama Shi. Just put me in any of the rooms, but I really don't know which one. Yeah.
I've said to you, room 1 is leveraging technology. Room 2 is with Hannah. Hannah is building yourself a consulting business. Room 3 is helping entrepreneurs stand out, building communication skills as an entrepreneur. And room 4 is with Ann Nolan with social enterprises.
I can't even find out to join these rooms now.
That's okay.
There's nobody in room 3, but there's room 6. Somebody's in room 6.
Okay. So what I'm gonna say is, is Dolapo Ola ready? So rather than wait.
Naomi, I want room 4.
Sorry?
Naomi, room 4.
Okay. I was just gonna say we should postpone this.
There are more people in room 4.
I can see that now, yes. So if there are more, that means that people can actually join themselves.
I'd like to join 3.
3, okay. Is that Sylvia?
There's nobody in 3.
Sylvia, yes, hello.
Okay.
I can't join any room, Toluwani. Do you want to manually put me in a room?
Yes, you're in room 1. I'm wondering why that is.
But even if one is manually joined, how do I see myself in that group? Because
okay, you know what? This is not something that we should get into, whatever. So don't worry. Let me ask Dolapo to come in for her session. Is that okay? And then I can work on this one in the background, okay? So I'm going to close our rooms and work on this one in the background. And I'm going to ask Dolapo, are you ready to come in? And my apologies to our speakers, our plenary speakers. Please bear with us. And then we'll come back to this, please. Okay, so can we give Dolapo a co-host? And then we can continue. I can continue this on the background. Sorry about the delay and sorry about the disruption. Okay, Dolapo is ready.
Let me, I'd like to just briefly introduce Dolapo because it's not everyone that knows who Dolapo is. Dolapo will be taking us on the session, Getting Your Business Funding and Investment Ready, Part 2, because we started yesterday. So who is Dolapo? Dolapo Sanusi-Ola is an independent business and growth strategy consultant for different businesses at different life circle phases for clients. Dolapo has over 15 years experience in accounting and finance across Europe, Middle East and Africa, EMEA. Her experience spans across different industries, which includes management, consulting, construction, manufacturing, hospitality, technology, fintech, food and beverage, insurance, and financial services. Dolapo is a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Management Accounting, CIMA. She holds an MBA from Imperial London and an MSc in Investment, Treasury, and Banking. She's also a director in HerGenuityAfrika. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a warm welcome to Dolapo Sanusi-Ola.
Good afternoon, ladies. I hope we're all having fun at the same time, becoming a better version of ourselves. So today, I think we're just going to continue from where we stopped yesterday. And I am going to share my screen. I'll try and recap what we did, the things that we spoke about yesterday. Funny enough, the speaker right before the plenary sessions, I talked on a lot of the things that we kind of talked about yesterday. So we would just continue from there. Okay. Sorry. Okay.
Dolapo, you have screen sharing functions.
She's temporarily logged out, but I think she's trying to come back in.
Okay. This is the new normal for us in terms of technology.
I'm here.
Dolapo, you're live now.
Oh, thank you. Sorry. I think there was a bit of confusion. Where is my slide? I think I seem to have lost my slides. Correct.
I think Dola, there's still a problem because I seem to have been moved into your group from my own group.
I think there is. I don't even know what's going on.
There is no. We have. I've sent a message. We are postponing that session until after Dolapo's, so that I can reset that. Is that okay for everybody? So my apologies. Thanks for your patience. So what I said is that we will recommence the breakout rooms after this session with Dolapo, so that we don't waste people's time. Is that okay?
Okay, yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, sorry about that, Anne. I thought you got my message there.
No, the messages weren't coming through either. Okay, no problem.
All right. So the message is in the chat room there. Thank you very much.
It's just there now, yeah.
Okay, I just resent it. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Am I okay to start?
Yes, please go ahead.
Sorry, guys.
30 minutes. Thank you.
All right, then, thanks. So yesterday, I'm just going to start from where we ended yesterday. And we touched on a few things yesterday about what you need to do really to raise funding for your business, whether be it from a bank or be it from an investor. A few we touched on yesterday. One of the things that I kind of mentioned is for a lot of us, it is not the lack of funds, but it's the lack of our businesses being attractive to the potential investor. That is really like one of the major issues. So we talked about the fact that you need to look at your business or your service from the eye of either a paying customer or the person that wants to invest their money in it. So you need to take an objective view. So if I was an investor and I had a lot of money, would I give you my money? Or if I was a client and I wanted to buy a product or a service, would I walk into the shop and buy a product? Would I pay for your service? So the whole thing around packaging, make sure your brand is professionally looking. So we started with the 10 tips, 10 things that you need to do in order to successfully raise funds. And these are things that have worked for me and have worked for people that have actually helped raise funds. So the first thing we talked about was obviously around professional branding. What does your business look like? What does the social media pages look like? What does your website look like? The second thing was having a strong business plan. And we talked about the things when you're writing a business plan to keep it simple, use headings, use bullet points, make sure you have a clear table of contents, make sure it displays professionalism. There are a lot of templates online now that you can actually use to write your business plan, but even if you're doing it yourself, get someone to kind of review it for you or get a professional to do it. Now, one of the things that I always say to people is when you're building your network as a business owner, build your network from a point of value. So from a point of view, adding value to the people around you and people around you actually adding value. So one of the things I've successfully done is I look at what I think my business needs. And when I'm building up my network, is to begin to add those people into my network. And we're going to talk about network towards the end of this session. Now, the third thing where we were yesterday was in terms of knowing your numbers. And I know the speaker before me had talked about that is with women, it is very, very important for us to understand our business and to understand our numbers. A lot of us are very, very bad at keeping records. So if you come to me and say, I want to raise funds for my business, and I ask you, you sell, for instance, you sell, let's say lipstick, and I ask you, how many tubes of lipstick did you sell last month? And you can't tell me at the drop of the hat. That shows that you're not in tune with your business. A lot of things that investors and even bank, and when I talk about investors, I'm talking about even the banks are looking for is somebody that has a very deep understanding of the numbers within their business. So understand how many customers are you selling to in a month, and what is the profit margin of each customer, or how much does each customer contribute to the bottom line of your business? How many products do you need to sell in a month to be able to cover all your costs, which is what is your break-even point? How much does it cost to produce one product? What is your profit margin per product or per service? These are things as a business owner that you need to understand and you need to know about your business Where we fail is the fact that we don't keep proper records. We don't do any kind of reporting within our businesses. I always advise people that learning how to use Excel is very, very fundamental for any business owner, because even if you can't use like, let me say like technology from an accounting point of view, if you have an Excel sheet that helps you to keep all your records, your costs, your sales, revenue per customer. For people that are in the consulting business, I always say that there's some customers, as much as they would charge, you can charge them higher, it actually costs more for you to service that customer. Some high-paying customers are actually loss-making customers. Do you know who the customers are that contribute the biggest profit margin to your business? Those are analyses that anyone that wants to invest in your business will be looking for. So know your numbers. The next thing is have a scalability plan. You're asking me for money as an investor. First of all, I'm going to ask you, what are you going to use that money for? What is the intention of that money? What is going to be the impact of that money on your business? Now, for a lot of us, depending on the kind of business that you own, for some people, it's the fact that I am only able to sell 1,000 products a month, but I have a customer base that will allow me to sell 2,000 products. So the money that I am asking for is going to be used to increase my products from 1,000 to 2,000, and I already have a market that enables me to be able to sell 2,000 products. Now that's clear cut for people that are in the product industry. For some of us, it's not that clear cut. For some of us, for instance, when LinkedIn was raising money, they weren't raising money to increase their revenue or to increase their profit. They were raising money to increase the amount of customers that are going to be using their service. So for some people, it would be the fact that, oh, I'm raising money because I need to build up my technology in order to reach a wider range of people. So you need to understand what that money is going to be used for and the plan that you have in place. Now, with increase, with growth in your business comes issues like you have quality issues, you have operational issues, you might have control issues, you have human resources issues. What an investor is looking to say that with all that increase in growth that my money is going to be bringing, what have you put in place to actually control your quality, to make sure your quality is as it is, basically? What have you put in place to make sure that you have the right staff to actually run that business? So those are the things that investors will be looking for. So a lot of times when we go to raise money, we don't have a plan. We know we need money, but you can't tell an investor the plans that you're going to put in place to continue to run a successful business, or the plans that you're going to put in place to make sure that that money actually creates the impact that your business, that you actually want the business. So they're like, oh, so how am I going to get my money back? So one of the things I keep saying is the fact that investors are not a charity. Even social impact investors, they're looking for return on investment on their money. And what investors want to see, even the bank, pay that money back. If quality suffers, customers will stop coming to you. And that means that's going to have a negative impact on your revenue, basically. The other one is know your target market. Every investor, even the bank, will ask you, so who are you selling to? How many people are in the bracket of people that you're selling to? How are you going to sell to these people? Can you tell me what your average customer kind of looks like? It is very, very key that you're able to tell an investor who your target market is. So if you're selling a product, who are you selling it to? My product is only for people, women who exercise. And then the next question is that how many women exercise within your vicinity? If you say, oh, only 10, maybe only 1,000 women exercise within my vicinity, then they begin to ask, for the product that you're selling to them, is there a competition in the market or a substitute product? In terms of, so when I tell people that, when I talk to people and ask about the target market, it's not only looking at a competition, but also looking at substitute. The example I like to use a lot of times is Coca-Cola and water. Now, if you're going into the drink business and you want to start selling drinks, as much as fizzy drinks are a competition, juices are a competition, water is actually a competition. And I mean water from the tap is a substitute, because people can decide, okay, you know what, I'm not going to buy drinks anymore, but I'm actually going to be drinking water from my tap. So that cuts down the volume of the people that are actually going to buy your product. So know your target market, be able to convince an investor that these are the amount of people that are going to pay for my product, or this is the amount of people that are actually going to pay for my service. This is the edge that I have over my competitors. And this is the edge that I have over substitute products, basically. And to be honest, so your sales and marketing plan is the most important thing that any investor wants to see, because that is what drives revenue. That is what is going to drive a paying customer to you. One of the things I'm going to say is, as small businesses, and I've made that mistake in the past as well, is to see your payment for sales and marketing as an investment and not a cost. A lot of times, as a small business owner, we would pay for everything else apart from sales and marketing. But sales and marketing is the one thing that we need to pay for, because that is what is going to drive a customer to you, especially a paying customer. For a lot of investors, what they want to see is the fact that you've actually started making money, you've started making revenue. So they want to see the record of the sales that you've made, which is where record keeping becomes very, very important. For some people, you don't even need to show, even if your customers haven't started paying money, what they want to see is that, let's say you're building, and this is a technology, be able to show that people have started using that product, or people have started using that app. With LinkedIn, when they were raising a lot of money, all they needed to show was that people were signing up to LinkedIn. So for technology, you find that with a lot of technology products, they will offer it for free at first, and they go into the market, and then they begin to ask investors for money based on the amount of money, people that are actually using that free product, which is good. So one of the things that investors like to see is the fact that there are people that are willing to use your product, there are people that are willing to use your service. How can you show that? Record of sales, signed contracts from clients who have committed to using your service. Do you have feedback from market research done? So which is where doing market research is also very, very important. Make use of SurveyMonkey, the other Google Sheets, to gather feedback of people that are actually going to use the product or the service. And even if you're offering your product for free, begin to gather that information for how many people are actually offering it for free, because that actually proves to an investor that there is a ready market for the product or the service that you're asking them to put their money into. Now, this is key. Have an advisory board. And when it comes to an advisory board, you don't have to be paid. What investors want to see is the fact that you are consulting experts when it comes to running your business. Nobody knows it all. I don't know it all. For all the businesses that I have, I actually talk to people. I talk to experts. I have an advisory board. They don't have to be paid. Unpaid advisory boards actually work as well. And that's where building the right network as well actually becomes key. Because what you want to prove to an investor is, let's say, for instance, you go to them and say, okay, I am a full, but I'm not an accountant. But there's an accountant on my board, or there's an accountant that I've outsourced my accounting to that actually advises me about my numbers, that helps me to do my financial reporting. So they have that comfort that, you know what, as much as this person doesn't have an accounting background or doesn't understand numbers, there is somebody within that person's cycle that is taking on that role of financial advisory. So it doesn't have to be paid, it can be unpaid, and it can be outsourced. For instance, most of the businesses that I run, I don't have a lawyer, but I have outsourced a lot of my legal work. And I also have somebody that I can use as a that I kind of would ask questions when it comes from a legal perspective as well. And a lot of times that person goes onto my deck as my board advisor when it comes to legal matters. So you need to look at your business and, okay, for the kind of business that I'm running, what are the experts that my investor will be looking, my investor wants to see? And then look for people within your network that you can actually use as your board of advisors, or people that you can go to, and being able to show to these investors that those people actually exist and you're actually taking advice from them. Having the right and relevant team combination, this is very, very key. It is when you start a business, people want to see that you have the education, you have the background, and you have the experience to actually run that business. If you don't, and this is where I know things are changing, especially as Black women, where collaboration becomes key. One of the things that is going to help us as women is actually beginning to collaborate with each other. If I am very good at something and I have an expertise in something, and there's somebody else and I lack in something, I should be able to collaborate with somebody else when it comes to growing my business. We need to start seeing each other not as competitors against each other, but as a collective set of people that can actually grow together, which is where men would put aside all their emotions, would put aside everything that is going on in their head and focus on what they need to do to actually grow their business and begin to collaborate with each other. So what are the current talents that you have in your team, in your business at the moment? And then what are the things that are lacking? And how do you go about bringing that the right resources that you need to grow that business? And collaboration is something that you can actually do. You don't have to pay, you don't have to put somebody on, bring somebody in as a paid employee. You can actually collaborate with other businesses and then show a strong front in order to raise investment or in order to move your business forward. So what is the right and relevant team combination that you need to actually grow your business? Now, this is key, having the right attitude. And this is where women tend to fail. One of the speakers said today that we need to stop being apologetic. We need to show up and own a room. You need to show up and own your business. You need to show up, have the right mental attitude, be confident, be a good salesman, exhibit that strength. Women are very strong. We need to exhibit that strength, exhibit that confidence when it comes to our businesses. Stop apologizing and say, okay, I'm begging for money. No, you're not begging for money. If you have a business idea that you believe in, if you have a vision, when you show up to ask for money, show up in that room, own that business, own that room, and confidently ask for money. What's the worst that can happen? They would say no. But then you move on to the next person, and to the next person, and to the next person. I started building my fintech business over 4 years ago. It took me 4 years to actually raise equity, even though we have been raising debt along the way. I had so many no's. But eventually, somebody was willing to take a risk and actually give me equity. At the time when somebody was willing to give me equity, I actually felt my business didn't need equity anymore because we had used debt to grow the business to a point where we knew that we could continue to grow the business with debt and we didn't need to give out a share of the business by actually giving out equity. But we still decided to take the equity because I felt that that would be a strategic play for us to actually take on that equity. But for 4 years, a lot of people have been saying no. But it's having the right attitude. You keep showing up regardless of. But the point is, you're the only one that can actually sell your business. You're the only one that understands your vision, and you're the only one that can actually sell your vision. So you need to have the right attitude. The moment you show up in a room defeated, nobody's actually going to bet their money on you because you're already showing that you're actually defeated. Even when people say no, I'm like, oh, I always tell them, thanks for saying no. It looks like our visions are not aligned, or you don't actually understand my vision. But can you tell me why you're saying no to me? And I could, if it's something that I need to go back and work on, I would actually go back and work on. But sometimes it's just the fact that people don't understand your vision. People can't see what you're selling, which is fine. But you still need to constantly keep that positive mental attitude. Know your end goal. This is very, very key when you're raising money. The question where a lot of us fail at is when they ask you, what do you need your money for? What do you need the money for? What are you going to use the money for? This is where people fail. You need to be able to tell people in one clear sentence what you're raising the money for and what the impact of that money is going to be on your business. So the example that I put there is, I was saying, okay, I'm looking to raise 100,000 euro. I want to buy a machine that will increase the outputs by 10,000 products a month, and this would increase our monthly revenue by 20,000 euro and a profit margin of 12,500 euro. That shows that you've done your research, you've done your homework, and then you know what you're going to use that money for, and you know the impact that money is going to have on the business. That would give an investor a lot more confidence in the sense that, oh, they know that the money is not going to go missing and their money is going to be used wisely. Then talk about your future plans beyond their money, because another thing that investors don't want to see is that, oh, this person doesn't have any stake in the business and is only going to use their own money to grow their business. So that means they're the ones taking the risk and you're not taking the risk, basically. Now, there are key documents that you need when you want to raise your fund. The first is your investor pitch, your financial plan, your detailed business plan, your marketing plan, and your sales plan. For me, I always tell people that for me, the three most important ones is your financial plan, because it's all about the money and how they're going to get their money back. is actually what drives your financial plan, because that's what drives your revenue. Your detailed business plan, a lot of times investors don't seem to read a detailed business plan now because they don't have the time to. But your investor pitch is very, very important because it's a summarized business plan that has your financial plan, it has your vision, it has your mission, it has your marketing plan, it has your target customer, and it allows the investor to be able to see what your business is about at a snapshot. So the next slide just kind of gives you things like headings that you can use when you're building out your investor pitch deck. So your executive summary is a summary of everything else that I've listed below. So about you, a brief story, like a brief history about your business, your problem statement. So what is the problem that your business is selling? The market opportunity, which is around your target market, like how much can you actually make in the market with your business? Your vision and your mission statement. Why should the customer buy from you? What is your unique selling point? Why should the customer buy from me and not from somebody else? Your services and your products. Your value chain is very, very important because everyone wants to see how your product moves from A to B in order to understand the risks and what you have done to mitigate those risks along your value chain. So your value chain is basically everything your product goes through. So from when you begin to make that product to when it gets to your customer and everything that happens in between. Then which will drive your risks. So what have you done to mitigate those risks? Risk would always exist, and an investor knows that risk would always exist. But what they want to see is the things that you have put in place to get those risks. Your team, we've already talked about. Advisory board, we've talked about. Your financials, so historical, your revenue to date, your profit margin till date. They want to see all of that. And then a forecast. What is the future financials of your business? And then your funding requirements. How much are you looking to raise? And what do you need that money for? Basically, is what they'll be looking for. And that has to be in your investor deck. Now, keep your investor deck, I always say keep it to about 10 to 12 pages. So it's always a very summarized view. So you need to be able to explain your business very, very concisely. In 60 seconds, which is where we started from yesterday, be able to explain what your business actually does. Now, from me to you, which is the most important thing, even if you have a very fancy investor pitch deck and you cannot tell a convincing story to an investor. Now, remember yesterday about the fact that their attention span is very, very low. Once you can't catch their attention within the first maybe 2 to 5 minutes, they've already switched up because they see these things every day. So being able to tell a story, the act of storytelling. The funny thing that women, we know how to tell stories. Bring that storytelling into your business. We know how to tell our children stories. We know how to tell stories when we're talking to our friends. That is what an investor wants to see. Being able to tell a story that will capture the attention of the investor is very, very key. Now, I always say to people when I work with them is that practice makes perfect. So do a lot of like pitch mocks with a business mentor if you have one. Watch pitches online. For me, when my business, whatever phase that my business is at, I spend a lot of that time researching and educating myself. So I use YouTube a lot. I use Google. I watch things like Dragon's Den. I read up on successful companies. I read up on even companies that have failed and the reason why they failed. So research and education becomes really, really, really important when you're trying to raise funds. And this is very, very key. A lot of times, the reason why men raise more money than women is because they have a social life. Men raise money on the golf field, they raise money in the pub, they raise money where they socialize. Women, where are we networking? We need to begin to look at the places where we network, to be honest. Build your network, join associations, join clubs. Your school alumni is always a very, very good network. For my own business, a lot of the money that I initially raised, I raised it from people that I did my MBA together with, and the people that I went to primary school with and secondary school with. Because they've known you the longest, they can really vouch for your integrity, and they can also vouch for your expertise a lot of times. Attend social and charity events. There's always a lot of social enterprise events, charity events that are going on. Begin to attend those events. Let's begin to change the way that we go out as women, the way that we network as women. Because to be honest, an investor that knows you, that knows your integrity, that can vouch for you, is more likely to give you money than somebody that is off the street. And which is where I always tell people that for me, it's good to find a mentor, but you can actually find people to mentor you from afar by reading up on mentors. But one of the things that is key for women to begin to find are sponsors. So there's the difference between having a coach, having a mentor, and having a sponsor. For a lot of us, a coach you pay for, so it's very easy. You just need to find what you're lacking and pay for a coach. A mentor, you can find people that can mentor you from afar, even by reading books. A sponsor is where a lot of women actually fail. And that is something that we need to start getting into the habit of finding a sponsor, because a lot of times sponsors are the ones that they're people of influence that can kind of speak on your behalf. So it's easy to raise money when you have sponsors who can actually vouch within their circle of influence, basically. And my last fun fact is luck meets preparedness to deliver success. While luck is one thing, the truth about it is even if you're lucky to meet an investor or meet somebody that wants to invest in your business, if you're not prepared, it is not going to happen. You need to be prepared. So you need to put things in place. So the right processes in your business, you have to have the right documents. You have to be in touch with your numbers, basically. You have to have the right team. You have to be able to talk about your business within 5 minutes. All those things become very, very key to make your business attractive. The truth about it, somebody said it today that a business has to be attractive for anybody to put their money into, and it's actually the truth. And what makes a business attractive? The right numbers, the right processes, the right team, the right packaging. What's your social media saying? What is your website saying? Does your business have integrity? Is it really delivering what it has promised it is going to deliver? Those are the things that become very, very key. And remember that investors are going to do their own due diligence outside of everything that you put in front of them. But the key thing is, I know people have lost investors because they asked them for documentation and it took them 2 months to turn that documentation around because they never kept proper records. They didn't have any kind of financial records, didn't have anything. So they had to kind of build it from scratch. That just showed the investor that they were actually not serious. And it was not somewhere that they were willing to take a risk to put their money in. It just shows that you were not prepared. Any questions?
Wow, Dolapo, thank you so much for that session. It was so intense. Seriously, every time you come on to talk about funding for businesses, and after I was like, oh God, is it not just easier to win the lotto? But it has to be done. Thank you so much. Any questions for Dolapo, please, before we go into our different rooms for the plenary session? Or if you have your questions, please put on the comment section, probably your section while maybe you're still thinking about it, so that we can go into the different plenary rooms. Thank you so much, Dolapo, for that very intense session. We really appreciate you. Your funding for your business is very key, and she has touched on all the areas, your account, your social media, everything that has to be, when it comes to money, money is serious business. So you have to be serious about the money aspect of the account aspect of your business. Thank you so much. So Toluwani, what's the story, please?
All right, thank you very much. Actually, so we're going on to that session now. Actually, some people are actually able to enter the room. Someone said to me that they were actually already in conversation. So I don't know what is so I'm just going to open the rooms again, right? So now we have people that have not joined. We have those rooms renamed. So please, you will see on your screen, join breakout room.
Should we see that now, Toluwani?
Yes, you will see that now.
Okay.
Join breakout room. If you are using a phone, it will still show that way. Join breakout room. And if you have not been pre-assigned, I have pre-assigned some people. If you have not been pre-assigned, you you can assign yourself to any of the 4 rooms.
I can see it on my screen, but I don't have an option to join Toluwani. So
What do you see on your screen?
There's a box that says message from Toluwani, everybody join a room. But it doesn't give me an option to pick a room to join.
Right, because
it was very small and in blue.
Exactly, that's what I see, absolutely.
Yes, I send the message to everyone. I send that broadcast to everyone to join a meeting room. Now, who are those that have that option to join a meeting room?
It's gone. It was there for a few seconds and then left.
I think they've gone. Those who've got, who's been, those
okay, that means that they've asked, that means that they actually joined a meeting room. Okay.
No.
So, if I assign you to a room, that's fine. So if you feel that, if you see that I've assigned you to a room and that's not the room you want, I can reassign you. Sakina, I'm assigning you to a room. Are you there? Sylvia, which room did you want? Okay, she's gone. Wendy. Okay. Okay. Who else is there? Okay. I think people are in the rooms now. I think people are in the room now. Joseph is still in the room. I don't know whether he wants to. Oh, Deborah. Sylvia, were you not?
Yeah, I was put in room 2, but
okay, where do you want to be? Where do you want to be? Room 3.
Room 3. That's the standout.
Standout. Fantastic. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I'll put you in there now.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry for your stress.
Oh no, that's okay. That's okay. So I think have I put you in there? Yes. Okay, I move you now to, yeah, you're in there now, but you've not joined. So I don't know why
I haven't joined. I don't see a join, no.
Okay, but it allowed you to go to a particular room, didn't it?
It did. I was suddenly in room 3.
Right.
But then I left room 3 to try and get into room 2. No, sorry. Yeah, it was put me in room 2 and I wanted to get into room 3. That's right. That's the standout room.
I don't know why it wouldn't let me change you over. And
is it because I left the other one and came back?
No, that's not the reason. No, that's not the reason at all. So I'm just going to.
I see people working in shops and in the retail industry, catering, but all of those businesses were closed down. So we then, as community connectors, must lead governments in recognising the daily inequalities that migrants face and access and supports towards enterprise, employment and economic opportunity to reach their full potential. We specifically focus on education, which is Sustainable Development Goal 4, as a key that will allow many other goals to be achieved. It helps to reduce inequalities and provides empowerment to live healthy and sustainable lives. So why create?
Oh, hello.
Okay, I think it's Tokumbo Jekuli, speaking to hold attention, helping entrepreneurs stand out.
Yes, it is. Oh, Sylvia.
I got him.
Finally, it is Tokumbo Jekuli, but he was in before his network kicked him out. So he's struggling to enter now because of the network.
Okay, that's fine.
So just bear with us for a couple of minutes. I'm just trying to ring him now because he did say to me that his network was fluctuating badly. So at least you're in the room. Thank God, my goodness. That was such work. Okay.
I know.
All right.
And, yeah.
I'll be back.
It's such an excellent workshop, you know.
Thank you.
It's been great. I was there last night and this day. And
if we don't get him today, I'm going to organize a special session for you, Sylvia.
Oh, I'd love it because I just love support. I just love, and I work with a lot of migrants. And I'm also an English teacher. And I work with with a Cork Migrant Centre in Cork.
But you see that lady behind you, that lady beside you, well, in front of me, Gladys. She is an expert.
Gladys.
So, Gladys, do your thing. How can entrepreneurs stand out? How can communications stand out? Because honestly, that's what she does for HerGenuityAfrika. She's communications expert with us.
Okay.
And she has a lot of value. I just didn't want to give her double work today because she's just good.
Yes.
So Gladys, do your thing. Work with Sylvia while I'm trying to.
Oh yeah.
She wants to understand how can we help entrepreneurs stand out? How can we use communication? Yes. How can we use image building? All of those. How can we use them to help entrepreneurs stand out? Because a lot of entrepreneurs, they have a passion for business. They want to change the world and all that, but somehow they don't pay attention to these kind of things that actually contribute to helping them stand out. And those are the kind of things that you do, Gladys.
Because as the last presenter just said, it's the first few minutes, the first few seconds that's just so important as well, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you see, I'm just okay.
I'm gonna leave you guys to it. Hi, Betty. Hi, Betty. And there's somebody else. I don't know who TOP is. We're now in the breakout session. I wonder if you want to go into any breakout session.
Sister Toluwani. I'm okay.
Mama, shall I just leave you here?
Let me be one of the breakout session, please.
Okay, I'll put you in building social enterprises or helping, social enterprises.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So, Betsy, I'll put you leveraging technology.
Hi, Toluwani.
Hi there. Did you get, wow, where are your people? Oh, there
they are.
Okay, sorry about that. It's okay now, isn't it? Say that again?
I don't in here, Toluwani, because you've opened sessions, so I think most people here know you.
Oh, yes. Oh, absolutely, they do know me. So please go ahead. Don't mind me at all.
So we'll just carry on then.
Yes,
yeah,
please.
We'll carry on then.
Thank you very much.
So what I was just speaking about was, I suppose, Claudia and Deborah were saying that, finding something, defining what you want to do, and finding something that you love to do are really key to building a consulting business. And I was just from that to say, important. So I think maybe if I could, Claudia, what kind of consulting where would you find, do you know?
I suppose at the moment it's I would find them from or most of the time, and it is in my area of expertise, and so and it was interesting that you mentioned seeing what's out there, because in my head I was also thinking okay, maybe. And I suppose that would be if it full time, but when you want to let you already have, it might be, so there's probably two different paths into it, but regardless of what the path is, you get to the point where you need to get customers. At the moment, anything with have actually reached out, and they either heard from somebody or through places I've worked in, and they've been referred and all of that. So I've never actively gone for.
Nice position to be in. Yeah.
It helps. I haven't had to either. I haven't had to.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And is your interest in putting that on a more stable footing then, or go after?
Myself doing it full time.
Okay.
I just want to be able to do it regularly enough that if in, I don't know, 5 years, 10 years time, I decide to go into it full time, I can. But in the meantime, do enough on the side.
Okay, so we're kind of coming at this from different angles, because I suppose for me, it's an established thing what I do. Toluwani, Deborah is looking to kind of move from that voluntary space into something that's more full-time, I think. And for you, it's kind of like a sideline nearly that you want to keep chipping away at to make sure that things. So I suppose where we go from here, I mean, I suppose there's a couple of points that I would make that I think are relevant to everyone. And Joy, sorry, I didn't kind of outline, what would you describe you would be at in this path, or are you more?
As I said, I have already a big network of African women in Europe. So I'm actually offering platform for the consultants to offer their courses and trainings on that platform. Also starting myself as individual, doing my own trainings and consultation services.
Fantastic. That's great. Maybe, do you want to pop a link to your platform into the notes, into the chat there? Because we have a chat that works just for our group, I think. So, and we can then, and anyone, either of the rest of you, if you want to pop in anything that you have, I'll put in my website there so you can take a look as well. So yeah, so I guess a couple of points that I find useful, which hopefully will be relevant to some people. I mean, networking, which Claudia has mentioned there, is super important. And obviously tapping into African women's networks to that, and that's really important. I do think that it's much harder at the moment over when you can people face to face. The advantage is that you can network, as we're doing now, with people who aren't necessarily all in the same space. So you do get that wider network. But I do think it's important to use Zoom to your best advantage. So when you can, and you're really interacting with people, and use the chat. You can use the chat to personally. That kind of helps to just say hello. If you spot somebody on the webinar that you know from somewhere else, take a minute just to chat to them. Missing, I think, at the moment is all those moments where you just can have a chat on the sideline, and that might lead to something. Another thing that I do, which is related to networking and clients, is use testimonials. So when I'll always ask something that I testimonial. And what I will say is maybe on my website, and I'll say to them, you know, what I do is on the tender, you know, often they ask for references, and I'll put a little disclaimer at the top. I'll say something like, you know, these people have agreed to act as referees on an ongoing basis, but I would appreciate you calling me before you call them, you know, they're not being called out of the blue for every single thing I apply for, and I don't have to go back to them every time I apply for something and ask for their permission. So I think that's a really good thing to do. And Deborah, you can also do that with your voluntary work, obviously. You know, like, people don't need to know whether it's paid or voluntary. If you've worked as a facilitator, you should be looking for those references as well, testimonials. And if you take a look at my website, you can see a few of those there. And I just find them really, really helpful for that. And then the third thing I would say about networking is that it's great to contact people for chats, and I do it a lot. It might be prospective employers, but it might also be other people working in either a parallel field to me or the same field as me. And when I was at the beginning and not finding it hard to find work, one of the things I did was I applied for a job. I didn't get it. I found out who did get it, and I contacted them. And I was like, any chance, you know, we could meet and talk about what it is you do, because they were well established. They needed extra people to work with them. So, you know, they were really happy to meet up with me, and they didn't give me work on that project, but they gave me work on subsequent projects. And again, that helped me to get my work experience in. So I wouldn't be shy about contacting people, is what I'm trying to say. So does anyone have any questions about that particular networking aspect?
Yeah. So now I'm thinking, okay, like saying she already has a network, and what's her name now? And Joy saying she's the network itself, and I'm saying, okay, I'm just the beginner. Where do I start from?
Yeah.
So yeah, so that was just in my head, and I'm saying, where do I start from to build those networks?
Well, I mean, I think already being here today, you're doing a great thing, because you're chatting with all of us. You know, it's very much, I mean, you know, if you want to send me your CV, I'm very happy as well to keep you in mind for work that's coming up. But like I said, use those references that you have already. So use the people that you have been working for already, even if it's voluntary, and contact people who are in the field that you would like to work in, just for a chat, you know. And, you know, it can be a hard thing to do, because sometimes you feel like you're imposing on people. But look, if they don't want to talk to you, they don't have to, you know. You send them an email, maybe one follow-up email, and leave it at that if they don't get back to you. But there's really no harm. And another thing that works well, I think, is that if you do it on the basis of a webinar or something. So let's say you attend a webinar that you enjoy, and there was a really good speaker, or maybe just a participant who had a really good point. You can find them usually on LinkedIn or somewhere afterwards and email them, say, look, I really liked your presentation. You know, I had a question. I was wondering if we could have a quick chat. So something like that. I don't know if anyone else has advice for Deborah on that.
Yeah, I would invite her to join our network. We have a huge network, African women in Europe. Yeah, I think you're in UK, right?
Sorry?
She said she's in UK.
I'm in Ireland.
She's in Ireland.
Ireland, sorry.
No,
yes.
I'm in Ireland.
Yes, our network anyway everything is online. As I mentioned yesterday, we have a network, and we actually do interview our members to expose them. So, and also now that we have the academy, it's a place to also give the opportunity for our members to start giving their courses and entrepreneurship ideas on it. So yeah, you're welcome if you're looking for a network. And of course, here in this network is also a very good opportunity.
Just have a couple of minutes to go.
Yeah, I see that there. So we're going to be hooshed back into the main session very soon.
We're going to give you a chance. We're going to give you a chance in the main room to round off, Hannah.
Okay, grand, no worries. But yeah, well, I suppose just to say to everyone, I mean, I feel like that was a short session for the detail we got in there, but I'd invite you all have a look.
So welcome back, everyone. We have people coming back into the room.
Yeah.
We are going to ask if the speakers in each room to just give us a kind of roundup of the sessions that they had. So we're going to start there from Sakina, who was in room 1. I think people are back in the room now, or am I? Yes, I think they're all back in the room. So I want to say thank you to all of our people. Breakout session, I know that was a short enough time, but I think one of our main aims is not to do a deep dive, but to get them to connect with you afterwards so that they can be part of your network and they can gain from the value that you create as well. So there you have some more people within your network there, our facilitators. So I'm going to start from Sakina to just give us a kind of brief about what happened in your room. Thank you.
So in my room, I think I was doing most of the talking, to be honest. So the general overview of the about 10 strategies to help small business leverage technology and to think like, technology for this. So we kind of looked at what is leveraging technology and what technology gives small businesses. We had of that, and what we also looked at is we looked at one of the 10 things we looked at getting mobile, investing in online presence, social media, attract top because people are working remotely now. So small businesses, this is a time that they want to leverage, the technology that is there, and that links to technology in the cloud, where anywhere, work from home. It's not working from the office anymore. It's actually working from anywhere. There's reading, the whole using of small data. We know the story of big data for big companies that we want to for small businesses, we want to look at small data. So how do they gather all of this data for their business? Collaborate to win, and that was I was talking about regard to kind of collaborate, how businesses can leverage the fact of maybe of ordering something in bulk together and do maybe plans, events and more, stuff like that. No, so 10 ways that, technology can enhance or leverage, they can leverage or business can leverage on technology will be manage products more easily, effectively and efficient use of productivity apps, benefit from web-based payments, make use of backup software, measure user agreement, make use of Twitter to gain customers, better marketing campaigns, and improve customer service. So kind of overview of what we went through in room 1.
Thank you very much. And if you can put your details in the chat, so if anybody has maybe your email address or something, so if anybody has any further questions, I'm sure you would not mind if they get in touch with you. Perfect. Thank you very much. So we go on then to room 2, which was Hannah Green's room, building a viable consultancy. So Hannah, what was the fallout there from your room?
Yeah, thanks, Toluwani. So I suppose we talked about each of the situation of people in the room. So everyone was at different stages, I suppose, in what they wanted to do in terms of consulting, whether it was as a side there or indeed kind of connecting different consulting opportunities and business. So that was really, really interesting. Thank you so much to everyone who was there. And I suppose we found the session short, so we spent a lot of the time networking. The importance of sessions like this, how to connect with people, how to network with people when we have to do it, which is not as easy. How to use the client base that you have. So we talked about the importance that those tests go on your website, go on future tenders and so on, and how to get in touch with people who, for chats just, but might eventually lead to some work. So whether that be prospective clients, and also we're also working as freelance consultants, and in spirit, everyone's look at my website and get in touch with me if they do want to talk about consulting. I mean, my experience mostly, but I'm always happy to have a chat.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Thanks very much, Hannah. Thanks very much. And I think that definitely I've known you for a little bit of time, and you offer a lot of value. So definitely, you know, what you bring is something that consulting business or aspiring consultants need. So I would really encourage people to get in touch with Anna. Is Bandcart, www.bandcart.ie. Anna has a wealth of experience, and I'm hoping that at some stage in the new year, we can get you into the room with people who are interested in building a consultancy business to actually do a deep dive into that area. So thank you very much. I'm conscious of the fact that you have to leave as well.
Thanks, Toluwani.
I appreciate that.
I'm very sorry. I do have to drop off. We'll to meet you all. Thanks. Bye now.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
So we have Gladys, who very nicely stepped into. Oh, I know. She's a beautiful woman. It's not her time yet. So we'll go on to Gladys. And then Gladys, what's the follow-up from your room there?
Thank you very much. I got to meet the lovely Sylvia, and just by meeting her, I was able to identify what she represents kind of from the conversation. Discuss brand, communicating your brand. Brand is who you are and what you're about, and the feeling that people have after interacting with you, and the importance of promoting your brand using media handles, knowing your market, knowing your audience for everybody. There's someone that will be connected to your brand. The importance of connecting to those people that would, businesses can connect with. So it's so important for you to know who your brand is and how to communicate your brand to people. You are live your brand. And I told her an example that my brand, when you see me, when you interact with me, is humor, is happy. I translate this into everything I do, and your brand should be able to reflect in all that you do. That is of your brand. If you dilute it trying to be another person, you are only adapting to another and not yours. So it is so important for us to know that as individuals, we are brands. Commercially, as a business, you are a brand. So learn to identify who you are, and learn how to communicate your brand. And that is another way of getting investors or people to connect. You know your audiences. you leave the right feeling with them. I almost said praise the Lord there.
All right, thank you very much there, Gladys. Thanks for your for that brief there. Thank you. And the last but not the least, of course, is Anne Nolan. And thank you very much, Anne, for sharing there what you got from your session, what the fallout was.
Okay, you're very welcome, Tolawani. We had a lovely small group, very attentive group. So thank you, ladies, for that. I suppose really what we provided was an overview of social enterprise in Waterford, and particularly in relation to our own programme as a humanitarian. We spoke about kind of issues during times of disruption, and we looked at things like cost factors and access to funding, and the danger of maybe losing some of our identity, or maybe having to adapt, I suppose, might be more suitable than that. So that we don't take away from our core mission. We have core day-to-day operations that are, as a humanitarian NGO, social enterprise is only one program of what we're trying to do. So we feel a bit of conflict between the social enterprise side and then looking at the day-to-day operational side. Funding is huge competition from all sides. Funders have and what they're willing to fund. We understand that, but in the meantime, we still have to learn to adapt to the challenges that disruption kind of sends our way. Naomi there in our group from Cork mentioned that they come across, a lot of the same situations, a lot of the same issues. Give an example, because what we're trying to do as a social enterprise is really from a cooperative standpoint. And cooperatives are very common in Ireland. They may not be very obvious to people who maybe are not from this country, but if you think about the credit union movement, is actually a cooperative that started here in Ireland. Some of the larger food organizations started as small rural agricultural cooperatives. So there's always room for more there, and we feel that women need the support of other women in terms of developing social enterprise ideation at the moment. Our role really is just to be there to support and to keep people moving along, to provide them with skills and help them to provide kind of maybe clear career pathways, because a lot of people come in and they're unsure. They know they want to do something, they know they have to earn some money to protect themselves and the children and be financially independent. They're quite sure of what they want to do. So I suppose my role is that we are there to facilitate that kind of social enterprise ideation process. And we work with Waterford Area Partnership in particular around that, and also with the supports of the local authority here in Waterford, which I believe is a little bit unusual, because local national strategy here in Ireland, and I would try and get a copy of that. There are some protections now in place for that. So that's a great move forward, and the Department of Rural and Community Development is very much behind social enterprise in Ireland. So watch this space. There's some new, very much some new policies and procedures coming out that will protect social enterprise going forward in the future. So it's a welcome opportunity for us to be involved now at this stage, and we have had the opportunity to input into some of those documents. So we're appreciative of that, and I want to thank you in particular today, Tolawani, for the opportunity to speak to the ladies and to hear what everybody else has to say today.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Brilliant.
You're more than welcome.
Thank you so much. And apologies to everyone for the delay, the technology hitch earlier on. I've learned to just stay calm in the midst of all of this, because it's what we have to use these days to stay on top of things. So thank you very much for that. Thank you to our speakers. I do appreciate, and I hope that the people that were in your room will indeed network with you after now, and they would ensure that they get the best from knowing you and being part of this session this afternoon. So I'm going to hand back over to our MC, Gladys. So over to you.
Thank you so much. Please, for those that anchored the sessions, please don't forget to put your details, your contact details on the comment section so that anybody that needs to further the network with you can easily reach you. And it's time for me to call on you again, Toluwani. It's to talk about the Black Magazine and our corporate partners.
So I just want to, take this time out to first of all thank our corporate partners. So we have Proudly Made in Africa. Unfortunately, today, Dr. David Iyaluke, who represents our organization, cannot be here. But we thank them for the support they've given us. They're actually giving us a hamper of lovely fruits for one of our participants here again, especially I think it's actually particularly for one of our the recipients of our award today. So thank you to Proudly Made in Africa. Thanks also to Boom Radio in Nigeria. They have been promoting us and supporting us, and we want to really thank them for all their efforts. Also to Champion More. Champion More supports those communities, the ethnic communities, particularly from Nigeria, who want to send foodstuff items over to their families in Nigeria, especially during this Christmas period, when rather than sending money, you want to send foodstuff, you want to send Christmas gifts to them. You contact the Champion Mall. I'm going to leave the links of these partners in the chat later on, so that if you want, you can connect with them. So really, really want to thank our sponsors. And Black Magazine is out, and we wanted to actually, Black Magazine is a publication of HerGenuityAfrika. And what we do is that we showcase, we highlight, we celebrate people of African descent and that are doing great things. We tell our story. We tell a story about our wonderful hair. We tell the story of our wonderful skin, the way we parent. So it's really about telling our story our own way. And we're especially proud to feature two of our award-winning entrepreneurs and in this edition. We actually wanted this edition to coincide with this summit. So we're really glad that it's out. It's not yet available for download because there are some things that are happening today that are already in there. So we wanted to keep it under wraps until we are done with the awards and everything. So Basiduk is one of the mentors of HerGenuityAfrika. He's a business mentor and also a member of the board of advisors for HerGenuityAfrika. He's based here in Ireland. He's an award-winning entrepreneur. You can find him on LinkedIn, Basiduk. And also Bukola Enuha. Bukola Enuha is a guru in tourism and hospitality. I wonder if she was here earlier. I wonder if she's still here. If she can say a few words. Basi can't be here today, but Bukola Enuha was here earlier. And she also is an award-winning entrepreneur. She is doing fantastically well in South Africa, although she's originally from Nigeria. So we just want to celebrate those two entrepreneurs and hoping that we'll be able to link up with them at other events that we're going to have in HerGenuityAfrika. This magazine will be available on our website for download after the event, as I said. And thanks very much for that, Gladys.
Thank you, Toluwani. It's time for one aspect of the program. Like we all know that 2020 has been most challenging for businesses. I was doing my tax February income 0, March income 0, April 0. You know, a lot of big business have been impacted. Small businesses have been affected. Some had business ideas that they couldn't launch because of the challenges. While it also pretends something different from others. Some were able to leverage upon the challenges, were able to. So what we're going to appreciate people who have been able to keep their heads up high, those who also were able to start up new businesses, those who were able to continue make ingenious, creative contributions to their community. I would like to call on our first awardee. It's the HerGenuityAfrika Businesswoman of the Year 2020.
Before you do that, I just want to make sure that they are all in the room.
Okay.
So, yeah, so would you, okay, maybe not, I shouldn't, maybe I just let you do what you need to do.
Okay.
So that we don't preempt what was meant to be a surprise.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. HerGenuityAfrika Businesswoman of the Year 2020. This is to an entrepreneur who is the owner of a registered business and has been in business for over 18 months with excellent social media engagement, who is experiencing significant success with the indigenous market as well as other ethnic groups, who demonstrates customer service, has a testimony of outstanding customer experience and the potential for growth into international markets. Ladies and gentlemen, it's our pleasure to announce the winner of the Business HerGenuityAfrika Businesswoman of the Year 2020. Please, let's give a round of applause for Edizemi Unlinda Mamashi.
I hope the drums are rolling somewhere.
Hello.
Mamashi.
Hello. Gladys, thank you very much. Hello, can you?
And
hello.
We can hear you.
Oh. Thank you very much for this award. And thank you also for all the presentations for today. Doing at this time, I must say, hasn't been easy at all. By the I just want to say thank you to all my Africans, Nigerians, Irish friends, colleagues, and customers that have been promoting Mama Shi's brand, and I've been promoting the business. And above all, I want to say thank you to Almighty God, because it is actually not easy. It hasn't been easy, but I just want to say a big thank you to God, because God has been very faithful. So I really appreciate the recognition, and I want to thank you, Toluani, for the award. It's not just the award, but for us all, because what Mama Shi is doing is to promote African food within the Irish community, and we have a goal to go beyond, to go global. So it's all about promoting Nigerian food. It's all about supporting one another. From the first presentation I had today, I was so impressed by that presentation, because we need to support each other. We need to support our businesses. We need to promote our businesses. And one person cannot do it alone. If I tell you, it is very lonely out there. But thank you also to all the Irish brand producers that I have met along my way. They have made things not a lot easier, but at least the challenges are less when you have people to talk to, when you have people to groups to network with. So all of this information that we had today are very, very essential to help you when you're building a business and when you're building a brand. So I just want to say a big thank you. I'm not here to give a presentation, but I want to say a big thank you, and I receive with joy, and God bless you all, and have a Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Mama Shi. I'll just quickly tell us, for those of us who don't know Mama Shi, Mama Shi is actually Edizemi Onilela. I suppose a lot of us know as Mama Shi. We don't even want to know her real name anymore. Professionally, she's a qualified social worker, and she's doing fantastically well. If people we watch the social media space, we realize that during the pandemic, she was at the forefront, supplying food almost on a daily basis to frontline workers at her own cost. So she is absolutely fantastic, inspirational, phenomenal. So for in the spirit of supporting her businesses, her business rather, please ensure that you patronize her. She is in super value stores in different places now. She's given me a list of the stores she's in. She's in Dean's Grange, Churchtown, HSQ, Rathgar, Sutton Cross, Pavilion Swords, Daly's Greystones, Knocklion, and Lucan. And she, of course, she's spreading to other places. Now, what she's going to, what our plan is that she will spread the love this Christmas with jollof rice, with suya, with kilishi. Some people say she has a igbi, which is a, what is igbi in English again? So she has all of those. And so if you want her to add some joy to this Christmas, please kindly tell her she's going to send you those stuff. And if you want to be her business supplier, she's also recruiting suppliers for her brand. Am I doing well, Mashi?
You are doing very well, Toluwani.
So definitely, congratulations, Mama Shi, and more grease. Literally, even grease to your elbow, more grease to your elbow. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're so welcome. I hand over now to our fantastic MC.
Thank you so much. A win for Mama Shi is a win. And like our business resonates with everything that Dolapo mentioned, packaging, branding, and that. Congratulations. Someone said, you're not in Cork yet. Someone said, yes, so suya pepper. So someone is enjoying your suya pepper. Congratulations again. Our next award goes to the HerGenuityAfrika Social Entrepreneur of the Year 2020. This is presented to an entrepreneur who is using our skills, expertise, competences, and resources to innovatively and creatively address and solve a cultural, environmental, social, community-based problem, and to effect a positive change through their initiative. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to announce the winner of the Social Entrepreneur of the Year 2020 to Rosemary Kuneni Dignity Partnership. A round of applause for Rosemary Kuneni Dignity Partnership.
So Rosemary, you're very, very, congratulations. You asked me to read out this profile because you said to me overnight that you wanted to tell your story. And of course, there'll be time for you to tell this story. But you sent it, you said, Toluwani, I was so inspired by yesterday's program and all the things that we had that I feel that I need to say my bits. So I'm just going to read out what you sent to me. And you said, Rosemary Kunene is a community activist and a social entrepreneur, passionate about community empowerment for the marginalized groups of people, in particular, refugees and international protection applicants. You hold a BA in Applied Addiction Studies and Community Development, and you're currently a joint chair of Leash Integration Network, a board member of Places of Sanctuary Ireland, and represent Migrants on Leash Community Council, COVID-19 Response Forum. Your 10 years experience of self-employment and the managerial position experience at Matrix Warehouse Computers gives you a strong business acumen, and that is how you thought about founding Dignity Partnership, because you saw the potential in the untapped skill set and talents for refugees and people seeking asylum while living in direct provision. And presently, you are studying for an MSc in Cooperatives and Social Enterprise with the University College Cork. Congratulations, Rosemary.
Thank you so much. I was actually shocked when I got a phone from Toluwani, and I just want to thank, not just for me, on behalf of the team. I've got a very good team that is working. People in tech, their voices are heard and their skills are used. And reflecting on what was said yesterday, especially by Mavis, to say we have to keep on unmuting And I always say, once we unmute ourselves, we should also remember to unmute those people who cannot unmute themselves. Let's unmute others and also help them to cross. Yes, I know it's all about business and making money, but at the same time, we also have to balance between business and making social impact. Thinking about how much money can I make for myself. Some of the things I want to say that have already been said by Mama Shi. So thank you so much, everyone, and we appreciate your support. I'm saying this on behalf of. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Definitely.
Thank you so much, Rosemary. Congratulations. I like what you said. It's not just about making money. It's more about impacting how people feel when they meet you. It's not all about money. Congratulations to you and your team for all you do, to those in direct provisions and all other things that you do. Our next award is for HerGenuityAfrika Innovator of the Year 2020. This award is presented to a dynamic entrepreneur whose business idea has the potential to disrupt existing markets, using new and emerging technology to bring new products, services, technology, or processes to market or to redefine existing ones. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to call our winner for the Innovate Year 2020. And this category has 2 winners. Our first winner is Wendy Oke, Tech Cloud. A round of applause for Wendy Oke, Tech Cloud. Wendy.
Thanks very much for the award. It's really an honor, and it's been a fantastic conference with building the right team to using innovation and social entrepreneurship in response to societal issues. And just a bit about myself, I founded Cloud, a compliance and management application during my PhD to support preschools communication with parents and complying with regulations. So I love networking, and I'm on LinkedIn as Wendy Oke. So if anyone wants to connect or perhaps is in the preschool or educational industry, I'd be happy to see if there's any synergies there. And lastly, I think what HerGenuityAfrika is doing is much needed, especially in countries like Ireland. We know ourselves representation of ethnic minorities, and specifically Africans and African women within entrepreneurship and the innovation space is incredibly important. So I'd like to thank the organization for the amazing work you are doing and will continue to do. So thanks very much.
Thank you, Dr. Wendy Oke. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Put some respect to that name, Dr. Wendy. Dr. Wendy Oke. Congratulations for all that you do. Our second winner for the Innovator of the Year 2020 is Memory Haven Team. A round of applause for Memory Haven Team.
Yes. So unfortunately, Evelyn Nomayo, who is their mentor, can't be here today for personal reasons, but she does extend her profound gratitude to us, and she definitely would be in touch, with us at some stage. And so it's congratulations to Memory. They've had so many mentions over the last few weeks, last few months for the fantastic work they did. And we also celebrate them as parents, as sisters, as mothers, and we indeed celebrate their work. And we just thought it was really good to recognize them on this occasion. So congratulations to Memory Haven.
Congratulations to the Memory Haven team. Our next award is for HerGenuityAfrika Special Recognition 2020 for Entrepreneurial Thinking and Community Service. This special award is presented to a female or group of females who, in spite of their own circumstances, recognize and utilize opportunities for the growth, development, and betterment of others and their community, demonstrating selflessness, love for humanity, ingenuity, community transformation, a desire to seek the good of others, and a capacity for idea generation. gentlemen, it's an honor to announce the winner for the recognition for entrepreneurial thinking and service. The award goes to Social Ethnic Hands on Deck. A round of applause for Social Ethnic Hands on Deck.
Hi everyone. So on behalf of, I just want to say thank you to everyone in this group today. And my God, yesterday and today has been just a learning process for me. So on behalf of myself and all the women from Social Ethnic Hands on Deck, I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We really do appreciate this. A lot of the women in this group are in direct provision, and we are mothers with children, and then we're just reframing the narrative around women, and to just be seen and to be heard is just amazing. So I just want to say thank you. Yesterday I went with two things in my head and it stuck with me till now. The first one is to unmute, to just keep unmuting. And the last lady that received the award said, don't just on yourself, but also unmute for the people around you. So for me, that is super. And I think another thing that stayed with me is about us shining our lights. And I think Alexa was saying something about in 5-10 years from now, what will our story be? And I think if we keep shining our lights and shining the light of people around us, then we will be seen. And we don't have to fight to be seen because our lights will really shine. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Before you go, Deborah, I hear that it's not just you. So your network, tell us about it, please.
The Social Ethnic Hands on Deck are just women from the community in Cork. So we make masks, we make crochet, we make different stuff. And this Christmas we're making cards, and we're facilitating parenting trainings, intercultural trainings. So there's so much that the women are doing, myself and all the women in the group. There's no stopping to what we can do. And before I go, I just want to appreciate Naomi. She's kind of like our backbone. She's the one identifying our talent and pushing us to keep going. So Dr. Naomi, she's just amazing. She's the woman we've been talking about. So yeah, so thanks.
Well done to Social Ethnic Hands on Deck. There was something phenomenal that you did during the pandemic. Do you want to share that with us before you go?
Yeah, I think after the lockdown, like a lot of us were if you're living in direct provision, it's kind of like a double lockdown because you're already in a lockdown. So I think what Naomi rang and said, so what do you guys do? Of course, everybody was wearing masks, and so she was anybody that can sew. So we had like 1 or 2 women that could sew. So I think those 2 women had to train other women in the community and in direct provision, and then we made 9,000 masks to share in all the direct provisions in Cork and to homeless shelters. And that's what after the first lockdown we said we could make this into a business because a lot of the women weren't working. So that's how Social Ethnic Hands on Deck and from just masks, we've been doing other things like airbands, and we've been doing a lot. And if you go on Facebook and on Twitter and in Instagram, you see all the work that we're doing.
Fantastic.
So yeah.
Thank you so much. I mean, it's phenomenal that you could do about 9,000 masks and give them out for free within your community. That is fantastic. And Dr. Naomi Machete, do you want to say something before we hand over to our MC?
Yeah, thank you very, very much. I missed yesterday, I'm sorry, but today was so impactful and really refreshing because I think what stood there with me is, I can't remember her name now, from Nigeria, who was saying We don't want sob stories. Look at me, I'm this age and I need sympathy. And I think that's what, for me, CSR Hands on Deck is. It's about, I mean, when it comes to migrants and particularly people in direct provision center, people are viewed through a very deficit lens, almost like people who take all the time, but not people who give, almost like people who don't have agency. And I think what these women have demonstrated. So during the lockdown, when everybody was in sheer uncertainty and almost helplessness, they stepped up. And 22 of them during lockdown were able to raise sewing machines, were able to get it to get fabric from where we had no funds. We had a GoFund campaign. We raised 32,000, 35,000, and we're able to make 9,000 masks in 4 weeks, able to give each person in every direct provision center in Cork, every man, child, and woman, 3 masks each, and give to 14 groups in the community. So that in itself was able to change the narrative of people who receive all the time, who are passive, to people then who are doing something for the community. And I think that was really empowering for the people. And then that has moved to where the women are actually producing really good, high quality stuff, bringing all the diverse skills and talents from all the different communities. So there's 45 women from 25 different countries with all the different skills and talent. So we are saying, we are selling this stuff. Don't buy it because we are women in direct provision center, or we are poor ass or whatever, but because the stuff is really fantastic. It's really first class. It's out there with all the other crafts in Cork, which is very famous for crafts. And I think for me, changing the narrative from deficit to people who can provide, who can do something to the community is very important. And then that sense of agency as well. I think that is what I found as really important and really empowering. And also to say that this whole cooperative is driven by the women. It's very organic, it's very up. All the women, whether they are doing marketing, they are doing finance, they are doing logistics, they're all the migrant women. There's no me coming from the top down telling them what to do. It's all the women at that level doing all these things and being there. So it's brilliant. It has a lot of buy-in because the Sanctuary Mask Initiative had a lot of publicity. So the public has gotten behind them. And so it's just really fantastic. And I'm really proud of working alongside these dynamic women who are not saying we are women living in the direct provision center. We are saying we are a group of women making fantastic products and support us, and we support each other. And it's fantastic to hear what everybody else is doing. And there's so much talent pool. We just need to support each other in the sisterhood. Thank you so much, Roriwani, for this great platform.
Thank you so much, Dr. Naomi. You want to say something?
No, go ahead, please.
Thank you so much. And one of the points that have been highlighted since yesterday is the need to patronize one another. So if you want to order your face mask, you know where to go to. Order from Social Ethnic Hands on Deck, include it in the Christmas hamper. And I'm sure they will be able to make customized masks if you want customized masks as well. It's empowering what you do. Congratulations for all that you do. And thank you too, Dr. Naomi, for being a mentor, a coach, and leading them in all they do. Well done. Our next award is for HerGenuityAfrika Upcoming Entrepreneur of the Year 2020. This award is presented to a female entrepreneur who is the owner of a newly registered business of 18 months or less, with excellent social media presence, following and engagement, as well as a growing reach into other ethnic markets. It is my pleasure to announce the winner of this category, Aramide Oluwole Sparkles Cocktail. A round of applause for Aramide. Is Aramide there, please?
Okay. It seems that Aramide is not here, but congratulations, Aramide. So Aramide,
congratulations.
I just read our profile very quickly. Aramide Oluwole is the founder and creative self-taught mixologist behind Sparkles Cocktail, located, of course, in Ireland here. Sparkles being the first mobile bar mixologist in Dublin, Meath and Louth region since August 2015. It is now a limited company as of February 2020. So Aramide is creative director and founder. She has a background in accountancy and business studies. And she went into this business because of her love, the love she has for hosting loved ones. And also she has a background in hospitality. She's worked in the hospitality industry for over 6 years. And during that time, while in university and a little after graduation, she did quite a lot. The business kicked off in August 2015 when she was asked to cater for drinks as part of her contribution to a friend's bridal shower. That was when it clicked. She had a light bulb moment at that time. So at Sparkles Cocktail, they create mouth-watering mocktails with an unforgettable love at first sip experience. So she's not just an ordinary mixologist, she also creates yummy and beautiful fruit platter and fruit stands that will have you wowed. This year, they introduced our DIY cocktail and mocktail box, where they produce mocktails that everybody can enjoy. She also wants us to check out our sister company, Sparkles Rosette, is at Sparkles Roselle on Instagram, where they make Zobo. Zobo is actually, what's Zobo called? That always flies out of my head. Anyway, Zobo, for those who are from Lagos and Nigeria, Zobo. Zobo, which is
flower drink.
Hibiscus, you always hibiscus leaf drink. Hibiscus. Yeah. Now, when I disgrace myself, you people now remind me. So, which is distributed in the majority of African and Asian stores in Dublin and Meath. So congratulations to Aramide Oluwole of Sparkles Cocktail.
Congratulations. Talk about her genuity woman.
Absolutely.
That is who she is. Congratulations. And I've tasted the Zobo. It's absolutely amazing. It's actually love at first sip. Now for our next, the next award is HerGenuityAfrika Founders Award to an Inspirational Person or Persons 2020. This special award is presented to a female entrepreneur or professional who behind the scenes goes over and beyond and is committed to consistently using their capacity, capability, resources, and social networks to support the advancement of the people of African descent. It is my absolute pleasure and the pleasure of HerGenuityAfrika team to announce the awardees for this special category. The Founders Award to an Inspirational Person or Persons 2020 goes to, drum roll please, Dr. Claudia Ibrude.
Let me just say something before
Dr. Claudia.
Where is Dr.
Claudia?
This woman is phenomenal. She is an absolute gem. A lot of people might know her because of who she is. She is just a wonderful person whom I call a connector. Claudia likes to walk in the background. In fact, anytime I wanted to show a couple of pictures that I have of her, which would have sent the whole place laughing. There's one picture that I have, and we actually went to a barbecue that was organized by Abidol, Dolapo and her husband. And I wanted to take a picture of her. And for every picture, Claudia's face was like that, and every time made me laugh. Why can't you just let us take pictures of you? And there was another one from last year in 2019 when we had HerGenuityAfrika Black launch. And I have a picture of her. We wanted to take a picture of her, and she used black to cover her face like that. So all you could see was her hand and the magazine. But behind the scenes, she is absolutely, wonderful at connecting people, at using her network, her resources to push others forward. She doesn't think about it. She doesn't expect a thank you. All she wants to see is that people of African descent move forward. And I call her pragmatic as well, because she just gives it to you as it is. She doesn't fine tune anything. She's just wonderful. So Claudia, congratulations. I don't know if you're in the room somewhere. This is your year. You have something under wraps still. I want to be surprised, and I hope that you are pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
Claudia, go on. I just want to add on top. I'm sorry. I just want to add on top of what Toluwani has said. It's unbelievable. Claudia is someone who pushes you behind. She's not someone who's out there, but what she does behind is unbelievable. And she totally, totally deserves this award. She's a great person. I don't know. She's very insightful, and she gives it to you as you need to hear it. And I really, really celebrate you today, Claudia. Congratulations.
Go, Claudia.
Thank you. I feel like I should have dressed up or something. So thank you very much. Thank you. I really appreciate this. I've been blown away by the showcase of excellence today. And, I've been texting Toluwani in the background here. And it has truly been amazing to see all the wonderful speakers, but the wonderful women who are actually doing these things and changing the narrative. I'm really in awe, and I'm honored to be in your presence, to be mentioned, in your presence. Thank you. All I can say is, I'm super proud of the work that you guys are doing as, HerGenuity, and I'm looking forward to where this will go in the future. So I suppose on that note, all I can say is, let's go out and take our space. It's waiting for us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Oh, she's beautiful. Absolutely. So over to you, MC.
Okay, congratulations to Dr. Claudia Igrude. And we said the Founders Award is going to 2 people. And the next person is Adebola Sekinat Abdul Ibi. Congratulations, Sekinat.
Since it's Founders Award, let me also talk about this person. Debs she's just like Claudia, and that's why they both deserve this award. I know that. For me, I wanted to really make it a surprise, so I was connecting with Claudia about Sekina, and I was connecting with Sekina about Claudia. So they each came to support the other person, which for me is just beautiful because they are fantastic at supporting other people. I call Sekina a Niger with no guile, because she doesn't have one bad blood inside her or bad bone. She just is who she is, authentic completely. And what you see is what you get. And no matter when I call Sekina, she say, "What's up, sis? What do you need?" And she jumped to it. Today, she jumped on I called her about an hour plus before the plenary session, because the person who was meant to take it was unavailable. And so many things have gone, kind of wrong behind the scenes today. But we are thankful that God has helped us so far, and it's been glorious. And straight away, she said she was on her way to pick up her husband in the airport, and she was saying, okay, I'll get home and I'll put something together. And she is that kind of person. She didn't expect to be mentioned. She didn't expect to be thanked. She didn't expect to be recognized. She is just who she is. And Sekina, I just want to say that I really, really, really admire you. I love you to bits. When you say Toluwani, I say, how do you want the job? So you are a wonderful sister. So congratulations for being inspirational to me and to other women.
Oh my God. I'm really shocked. This is not fair, like totally not fair. Oh God. I just want to say thank you so much. It's been amazing being here. And I really do love the work that Toluwani is doing. I think was it 2 weeks ago, we got involved on a call mentoring a couple of women in the migrant community, and just to see how they can get into the employment space and guidance. As we said here, we don't, Black women are over mentored, I think what we need is advocacy for each other, and also what we need is sponsorship for each other. Thank you so much, Toluwani. Thank you. I'm really shocked. I can't believe this. I wasn't expecting it. This is not fair, Toluwani. It's not fair, but thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Can I just say something, please, quickly? I want to congratulate my two beautiful sisters, Debola and Claudia. When Toluwani called me about Debola, I was like, okay, she doesn't know, make sure you don't tell her. And already I'd heard, about Claudia, and I was like, okay, this person is telling me about that person, but don't tell this person about it. Okay, we're going to keep it secret. And they are very good. If you know them, they can do anything for you from behind without people knowing that, okay, they are actually moving these weights for you. I love them very much, the two of them, and I'm proud today they are being recognized for, their excellent work, with our community. Congratulations so much, and God bless you too. Proud of you, sis.
Thank you, Esther. And this session will not be complete actually without me mentioning the HerGenuityAfrika Awards team. Fantastic women who I called many weeks ago, and I said, look, this is what's happening. You need to get on board. And I just gave them what they needed to do, and I stepped away. And they are the ones who sourced the information about the different entrepreneurs, went around social media, did background work. I was seeing messages flying back and forth. I wasn't involved, but they were just brilliant. So I just want to especially recognize, appreciate, thank, celebrate these wonderful women. Our chair, the chair of the awards team, Pastor Tosin Popola, you are always on hand to support your sisters. Brilliant. Thank you so much. Please unmute yourself and put your hands together for Pastor Tosin Popola. I don't know where she is. She hasn't been well in the last few days, but I know that God is our strength. So Pastor Tosin, we celebrate you. Thank you for sharing that team. And I also want to celebrate Hertie Anum. Hertie is a wonderful sister. I just feel so blessed because when I call people, they say, what do you need? What do you want me to do? And I am so blessed. Thank you very much, Hertie Anum. And also Miriam Bati. Miriam, wherever you are in the room, thank you. Thank you so much for all that you did to put all of this together, to get all the entrepreneurs' names, the nominations, all of that. To Dr. Naomi Mashek, in spite of your awesome schedule, you made meetings, you'll be running Elters. I'm coming, give me 30 minutes, and you did contribute highly to the team. And so Najis Derji, I don't know if Najis is here today. I call her Tanzanian princess. She's a beautiful woman. I don't know if she's here today, but thank you so much. And thank you to the indomitable Shola Mobolaji. She's the woman who is never tired. So wherever you are this afternoon in this room, Shola Mobolaji, thank you. Thank you. In the midst of all your busy schedules, you stepped in, you have meetings in the night, you have chats in the morning, just making sure that we do what we needed to do. So thank you so much to every one of you. I really do appreciate you. And thanks again to all of you that are in the room. Celebrating your sisters, it's just been phenomenal. Thank you, MC. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Toluwani. It's time to call this amazing, beautiful woman. Words fail me, and there's no profile, there's no way, there's no starting to read our profile, but I'll just give you a brief one. It is my pleasure to call on the woman that made history in Ireland, the first Black African woman to be elected into representative office in Ireland. She's the one and only, popularly and fondly called energy in motion. When she hits like a tornado. That is how she is. That is how she moves. She is a walking, talking energy. She is the President Shiro's Global and Ireland's first Black female counselor, listed Irish woman of influence. She's all that and so much more. Ladies and gentlemen, please let's give a round of applause for Councillor Yemi Adenuga.
Shakara International. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for those kind words. And I just want to start by saying, congratulations, HerGenuityAfrika. Wherever you are, you don't have to turn your mics on. I just want to see you putting your hands together. If you have your video on, just put your hands together. Be kind enough to put your hands together. It's been a successful event, 2 days in a row. And I mean, in a time like this, how do you beat that? You know, I just wanted to say congratulations and start with that. Toluwani and the HerGenuityAfrika team. No better time to put this together than in December, a time when we're all hoping to have a better Christmas than everyone has prophesied, for want of another word, because everyone is talking about how gloomy this Christmas is going to be. But I tell you, definitely, some people are going to walk out of here with smiles on their faces. And this leads me to say, congratulations to all the awardees today. All awards so well deserved. You should all be proud of yourselves. I want to try and remember everyone who's received an award today. Sheung Mamashi. I mean, come on. If you haven't tasted her food and you're an African in Ireland, I beg, you haven't tried. You never try. You need to find her. Then if you're not an African and you really want to know what African food tastes like, and you've been hearing, especially of jollof rice, and you haven't tried Mamashi jollof rice, something is wrong somewhere. You need to give her a call and give her a try. Then, when you're done, ask for the kilishi. Thank me later. Congratulations, Mamashi Sheung. So well deserved. You're doing Africa proud. You're making yourself proud. You're laying a legacy for your children and the children to come. And we're so super proud of you. Rosemary, well done. An award well deserved. I listened to you speak and everything you said came from the heart. You're shining your light. And like has been said throughout yesterday and today, your voice is heard loud. And clear, and keep speaking. Sometimes amongst the noise, it's difficult to hear the voices loud and clear. So keep speaking your truth. Wendy, okay, congratulations. Such a well-deserved award. And I'm so delighted that you ended by saying, I'm on LinkedIn, link me up. This is networking, this is the opportunity. So you gave yourself that leverage by asking people to connect with you on LinkedIn. And that, of course, is the platform that most professionals are connecting on now. So I am super proud of you. Well done. I'm definitely going to be connecting with you. Evelyn Nemayo and the Memory Haven team. I mean, just one fantastic innovation, and they took Ireland by storm, not just by storm, took Ireland and put Ireland on the global map with their creativity and their innovation. And we're so proud of this beautiful sister and her team and the mentorship she's given these young ladies and many more to come. Well done, Evelyn and the Memory Haven team. We're proud of you. Saoirse, ethnic hands on deck. My goodness. Talk about creating something out of a dire need. When a need arises, I mean, this is my life. Think about it's going to deal with you. You should deal with the problem and not let the problem deal with you. And with just one challenge, my goodness, an entire community was served. 9,000 masks. That's a record. I think we should spread that word loud and clear for all and sundry to hear. We're not shouting enough. We're not telling people what's happening enough. We're not saying it enough, you know? And people hear those who say it louder and say it consistently, who say it all the time. And I will be talking about the fact that an ethnic minority group came together and gave 9,000 masks for free. Let's talk about this. I want to challenge everyone who's here today. Make sure you tell at least 10 people, and I'm not joking, at least 10 people the the fact that, look, if it was a small organization in a community, an indigenous organization, it would be on RT News. So aren't we talking about it loud enough for it to be everywhere? So at least 10 people, share with them that this group made masks for free and they're in direct provision. Isn't that just mind-blowing? So well deserved. Celsia, hands on deck. God bless you. Well done. Aramide Oluwole, Sparkles International. Well done, darling. I mean, we could literally, do you know when you drink non-alcoholic drink and you think you're getting drunk? You can get drunk on non-alcoholic when it's so good. And what I mean is you just keep having more and more and more and more. And you're so full, you are like, yes, I'm fed up. She is amazing. If there was another description for mixologist, I think we should give you that title. You've spent so long on this trade. You've built the experience, you've built the expertise, and we're so proud of you. The limit is beyond the sky. Just keep going. Well done, dear. Claudia, what can I say about this amazing woman? What can I say? I mean, you just keep going and going and going with Claudia. You never stop. And I'm going to talk about Claudia and Sakina together. You know, it's like, when you talk about buy one, get one free, these ladies are just incredible. Think about this, right? And this is perhaps one thing I want us all to leave with today. When you're talking about people, right, and you're talking about them in a positive light, and you have the pleasure of knowing them, and you have the pleasure of knowing that what they're doing is making a difference, the fact of the matter is, you should see it as a blessing that you know them. That you know them, it is a blessing indeed. So I am blessed and honored to know these two ladies and several of the ladies who are on this platform today, because they make a difference. Some of them, you probably don't know, some of them don't talk about it. Like many have said, they do it behind the scene, but they make a difference. You talk to them, you feel different, you feel inspired, you feel encouraged. Sakina, Claudia, we're proud of you. Keep up the good work. Keep being who you are and do not change for nothing, because therein lies the power of who you are, the power of your strength. And that's why we're celebrating you today. I hope I've not left anybody out who's been a winner today. If I have, please forgive me sincerely. It's not intentional. I tried to write everybody's name down so that I could remember everybody. And I hope I got it. Did I leave anybody out? Please tell me before I get fired. Okay, so congratulations, all of the awardees. We are super, super proud of you. Look, an award, as much as it is a recognition and an affirmation and of what you're doing, that people see you and people, celebrate you, it's also a challenge. Every time I receive an award, my heart goes boom, boom, because yes, I appreciate it, but at the same time, I feel, oh my God, this is another challenge to not stop and keep doing more. So I'm saying this to all the awardees today. Congratulations, and I want you to know that it comes from a place, this award you've all received today, they've come from a place of appreciation for what you do. But please remember that it's also a challenge, that you don't stop. You tie the knots today and then you start again. You tie the knot and you start again. It's another chapter. So please don't stop. Keep doing well. On behalf of HerGenuityAfrika, I want to thank all the speakers who have just been incredible this past 2 days. Yesterday, unfortunately, I couldn't stay long. I was only here for about an hour or so. I couldn't stay all through. But the time I spent here was so well spent. And every speaker that I was able to listen to brought something of a freshness that has left all the entrepreneurs who are present believing that the limit is beyond the sky. This limit is not the sky, it is beyond the sky. And the only thing that can stop us as African women, African entrepreneurs, is ourselves. There are no more excuses. There are people who are out there shattering glass ceilings and making a difference and doing amazing things. So we have no excuse anymore. So thank you all so much for bringing it, for sharing of your experience and speaking of your knowledge without holding back. God bless you indeed. And also on behalf of the HerGenuity, yes, please just put your hands together for all the amazing speakers, because really and truly, when you think about, thanks to COVID, who would have thought that we'll be thanking COVID? Let me tell you why. Because if you go to an event like this, you will pay through your nose to attend, to listen to all these great women who have spoken. So let's not take it for granted. I never take nothing for granted. Let's not take it for granted that we came, we were relaxed in the comfort of our homes, and we're able to listen to these women. Consider it, look, this is an investment. I want you to, in your mind, assign a certain amount. Imagine that you paid for this so that you take it seriously. Assign a certain amount to this conference and this award ceremony. And believe in your mind that you paid for it, so that when you're delivering, you know that it was worth your time and effort. I'm not saying it wasn't worth it for you, but when you know when we talk about put your money where your mouth is, we know that when money is involved, we don't joke with it because it came from a place of struggle. So please, let's not take it for granted. The patron of HerGenuityAfrika, Dr. Z. Manuel, I don't know if Dr. Z. Manuel is joining us here today. Toluwani has talked extensively about how amazing you've been supporting this dream and supporting this vision. And on behalf of herself and the entire team, I want to say thank you so much for your support. And we're believing it will be continued. It's a continuum, right? So it's not ended here today. And we're believing that you will bring on board several other people like yourself who will keep this vision running, who will keep this vision alive. And when we connect to people, it's not just for us, it's for others as well, for us to be able to bring others on board who will believe we add to that vision. So please, if there are other people that you know, and for everyone who's here as well, I'm saying the same thing. If there are other people you know who you believe will add to this vision, do not hesitate to bring them on board. People who will add, who will not remove. There are many people who are, without paying them anything, they are willing to remove. That's their expertise. Please, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about people who are willing to add value. They have value themselves and they're willing to add value. You can't give what you don't have. And so I'm just going to sum up here, just some of the things that came to me as I listened yesterday and today. And I'll start with value. You can't give what you don't have. There are too many people out there who do not have value. Yes, they're great and they're successful and doing incredible things, but what guides them really? The sad part of it is they fall for everything because they stand for nothing. And I want to believe that the women in this conference, in this award ceremony, are not people like that. The summit, they're not people like that. We never stop adding value to ourselves. I encourage you. If you're here today and you don't have listed or guiding you a set of values, I would encourage you when you leave, go and write them out. I'm guided by 5 values in my life. Integrity is at the top of that list. And I always said one thing that I sell is my name. And that guides me to never get involved in anything that would tarnish my image. Respect is another. Respect for myself and for others. Consistency, because that's how experts are made. People who do things the same thing over and over and over and over again until they become experts. So please find your value. You could be doing it already without actually realizing it, but once you recognize it, it guides you even better. That builds you as an African woman who is an entrepreneur, who wants to be consistent in what she's doing. We talked about writing our stories. The interesting thing for me is we've actually been telling our stories for years and years without realizing that we're telling our own stories. Unfortunately, the people who hear it are the ones writing it for us and are the ones now sharing it to the world. Mm-hmm. It's not our voices that are heard. We're the ones with the stories telling it, but the people who hear it are retelling it for us and telling it from their perspective. Fortunately, there are bigger platforms now without a third party, without the need for a third party. Let me just say that the story doesn't need to be perfect to be shared. It is what it is. Don't try to dress it up. Don't try to butter it up. Tell it as it is, authentic, organic. That's what the world needs now. Not all these sift stories that no longer sounds interesting, or they want to make it sound interesting rather. Please let it be organic and authentic, and never mind about how you say it. If am I speaking perfectly? Please share this with other women around you that you mentor or that work with you. It doesn't have to be perfect. It is story, tell it as it is. The more you tell it, the better it becomes. It is yours. That's what it is at the end of the day. It is your story. So please, let's keep writing it. Let's keep telling it. One day, we will find people who will write it exactly the way it is. More and more African women are taking up positions of authority, and they are taking it seriously to tell our stories the way it is. So they need to hear authentic stories that are not too polished to be told. Please make it nice and genuine so that we can share it appropriately. Another thing I want to leave you all with, which is part of what I heard, I'm just telling you how I've summed up the things that I've heard from the summit. You have to be authentic. I think I mentioned that earlier on. And you have, I loved the part where you talked about winning. You know, we have to be ready to win. I think for too long, we've put ourselves in a position where we believe, well, the people who know how to do it better are the ones who win. No, it's not about doing it better. It's about doing it. Just do it in the first place. You're afraid, but do it without, even though you're afraid, do it and get out there and get yourself known. And when you do it, don't go alone. Go with others. There's so many people who need us. The world is looking for leaders. And if we sit and complain, other people who we don't like are the ones who are going to do the things we keep talking about all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So the world is waiting for you. On a final note, we've come to this summit. We've heard great words spoken. We've shared strategies and shared ideas and innovative thinking and all of that. My question to you is, what are you going to do with this when you slog out of here? What are you going to do with it? You want to be able to come back here next year and say, yes, this is what I did. After listening, and then I went and I did. So I hope we come back with testimonies next year when we come back to HerGenuityAfrika Summit. Thank you all so much on behalf of HerGenuityAfrika. And I want to finish off by saying well done to MC Shakara, the MC for this event, the Shakaraist of them all, from beginning to end. I mean, well, I'm not surprised, you know. So you're just a shining light who keeps evolving all the time and getting better. And proudly, I would put you on any stage any day. And I'm delighted you're African. I'm glad you're Nigerian. That's the icing on the cake. So we can tell them out there, don't mess with a Nigerian MC woman, because she got her thing together. I don't want to say the S word. Thank you all. Last but definitely not the least, Toluwani Akahome. Yourself and your team, you've outdone yourselves. Well done. Great work, great summit, great recognition for amazing women who are changing the world one activity at a time. You should be proud. And can I just ask everybody, this time I'm going to ask you to unmute yourselves. Yes, we're talking about muting and unmuting. I'm going to ask you to unmute yourselves. You have the control. Now, this type of platform should tell you what it means when we talk about muting and unmuting. You have the control. Even though you might have an admin person or host who has control, you also have control, and you can take control. So unmute yourself right now, and please put your hands together for Toluwani Akahome and the entire HerGenuityAfrika team. I want to thank you all very much. Thank you. I want to thank you for asking me to, just sum this summit up. I hope I've done justice to it. And I hope to see you all again next year. God bless you all. Well done. And keep doing the great work. Right.
Thank you so much for that, Councillor Yemi Adenuga. I told you when she comes like a tornado. Nothing is left standing or sitting. Thank you so much. We've been inspired, we've been inspired from all that we've heard this past 2 days. I would like to invite the conference administrator, Tamara Myumi.
Tamara,
hi, how are you? Can everyone hear me? Yes. Thank you so much to everyone that came on board today. It was quite a great experience. I heard the lady saying that it's a good thing that our MC was Nigerian and I'm not a Nigerian, but somehow I'm on this beautiful platform with all these women. Maybe my husband will be Nigerian. Who knows? Yes, so thank you so much to everyone that came. Just on a final note, if you could please, after this call, before you forget, follow us on our social media platforms. We are on Instagram, we are on Facebook, we are on LinkedIn, HerGenuityAfrika. Follow us, share, get at least 5 ladies, just 5 from your network. Deliberately seek out 5 women and tell them to join the platform. And my encouragement to everyone as the younger one in the group, because I look fresh, is to get the young ladies on board. Please, especially the young generation, let them come. They are the future at the end of the day. Get them to come on board to learn from experienced women like yourselves in this platform. Get them to join. Go onto our website. We've got so many resources that we'll be putting up, so much information that can be accessed. We already made mention of the magazine that's going to be going up as well. So kindly, please go on our website, look for different resources, follow us up so that you're always informed about new events or new information that we'll be putting out there. So thank you to everyone and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thank you so much, Tamara. We appreciate you. You are not the only young looking somebody here. I'm young looking too. Thank you. Toluwani, do you have any words before we go?
Thank you so much. Young looking, but maybe not so young. Yesterday you're looking for your glasses and down. I can't see. Where's my glasses? And you're talking about young. It is what it is, my sister. So thank you so much. It's been a fantastic day. My beautiful, wonderful sister and friend, so many years, Yemi Adenogab, counselor. Thank you so much for that fantastic rounding off. It was brilliant. As usual, you never let us down when we call you to do these things. And that is why we very, very strategically position you in the right place so that you will do justice, where it should be done. So thank you so much. Earlier on, I forgot to mention Mavis Ramazani, who was also part of the HerGenuityAfrika Awards team. Mavis is a fantastic woman, and she is always on hand to support you when you need her. So she was also part of that team. But just on the last note, to round off finally, I actually thought that someone actually messaged me and said, Toluwani, 11 to 3, that is too much now. And I said, you know what, maybe we finish about 2 or 2:30 and then we use the rest of the time to network. So of course, they will still leave the room open for people who want to network among themselves, share contact details, share social media links. The reason why we're together is not just because of the conference, but so we can network amongst one another, exchange ideas. So from this program, we are hoping that we'll have collaborations that will develop. We'll have new businesses, innovations, different things. So let's listen and just walk away, just as Councillor Yemi says. Let something tangible come out of this. We've put our very blood, I can tell you for sure, over the last number of weeks into planning this program. It's amazing that a virtual program can take so much out of you, maybe even much more than a physical event. But we thank God that it's been brought to a very, very glorious end. So I want to thank every one of you, every single person. You're distinguished in my eyes, and I don't take anything you've done in these last 2 days. Being here, I don't take it lightly at all. You could have been elsewhere, but you chose to do. And I know that a lot of you came and said, oh, I support Toluwani, but I'm sure that beyond supporting Toluwani, you've received value for yourself and for your businesses and even for your own lives. So I'm really, really thankful to God. I just want to celebrate God at this time and to thank him for what he's done in these 2 days. So thank you very much, my friends, my colleagues, my family, all of you who've made life even more meaningful, even at this time. And I want to say on behalf of HerGenuityAfrika and the entire team, because obviously, it can't be just me. And I'm happy that MC Shakara has been the face of this event, because she's been the face of our events. With her hair, I keep mentioning her hair because that hair is something else. I'm so happy that you know, you see, you're experiencing her shine, because she's just so fantastic, and she's always ready, you know, to step in there. And so, sis, we'll do this, sis, we'll do that. Sis, what about if I do this? And I'm like, my sister, this is your organization as much as mine. There's nobody greater than the other. Go ahead and do what you want to do. And also people like Tamara, who, though she's very, very young woman, she's always on her end. She's just always there. Let's do this, let's do that. So I'm surrounded by lots of wonderful people. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you seems very, very simple to say, but it's from my heart. Thank you so, so much. Every one of you, those I haven't mentioned, you know that you are close to my heart, and I do celebrate you. And I want to thank today my sister, who also doubles as the editor of Black. She worked over the months, day and night, when we're chasing people for their articles, chasing them for their photograph, chasing them for their bio, worked over the months to ensure that everything. So Black is single-handedly our efforts. So I have little or no input in it, but it's just to showcase what other people can do when you give them a chance to shine their shine. So thank you very much, everyone. Merry Christmas to you. A wonderful new year. In spite of COVID, it's been a year that we can thank God for, in spite of COVID. So we thank God for everything. And by 2021, we have it even greater. So please check out our website, www.HerGenuityAfrika.org. We have different resources that we have put up and others that we're going to keep putting up. We want to be an information hub for you. So you're looking for information in areas regarding to business and set up business and mentoring, all of that, we can provide those services for you. So watch that space. And also, Dolapo Sanusi-Ola, she has a book that she has released. It's an ebook at the moment, and it's just going for €10. And for those who have registered for the event, I will send you on the link to buy that book. It's on the same thing that she was teaching these 2 days, which is getting your business funding and investment ready. She takes you step by step into how to do that. And she's available for mentoring at a cost, of course, because everything that's valuable should have a price. So she's going to be available to you, but that book will be sent to you once you are interested. You can pay for it. It's $9.99, €10 essentially. So that's where I wrap it up. God bless you. It's been phenomenal. Thank you. The room will be open for networking. Thanks, Mary. The room is open for networking. You don't have to leave the room. It's free. We've paid for it already. We paid for it. So it's free. Please go ahead and network. Don't lose this moment when you have people in the room to share. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.